32 minutes, 21 seconds. 5-second tone followed by a 1-second pause.
You are listening to Spaceboy Universe.
Okay, gang, let's go.
From the space city called Houston, Texas, welcome to Spaceboy Universe, featuring Spaceboy and the lovely Surlana. So strap in and prepare for launch sequence.
Greetings and salutations. This is Spaceboy Universe. I'm Spaceboy.
I'm Surlana.
And man, are we excited tonight. Because it is September 30th, 2017. And tonight's show is our 2-year anniversary show. Oh!
Yeah!
We're excited here at the old SBU. And as always, you can follow us on Twitter. That's at the SB Universe. Follow the host that gives you this fine programming. And that's at Surlana and at Spaceboy Music. And of course, follow the networks that bring you the content. And that is at the SBU Network and at PAUK Radio, and we'll explain that here in just a minute. Remember, if you want to hang out with said Space Cadets, you can go to spaceboyuniverse.com and click on the dancing chat bubble in the player, and that'll get you in with all the cool kids. In addition to Twitter, you can find the universe on Facebook, Tumblr, SoundCloud, iTunes, YouTube, and many more places. Speaking of YouTube, Surlana, you can find the SBU archive of shows there?
Yeah, I know that.
Cool. That was a test. There is also video content from Spaceboy Music, SBU interviews, video interviews, 2-Bit Gamers, and so much more. So go there, subscribe, become a follower, become an official Space Cadet. Can't catch a show live? No problemo. Well, you can always take SBU on the go with you via Spreaker, SoundCloud, iTunes, and rebroadcasting. So on that magical note, how are you, Surlana?
Well, I'm pumped for our 2-year anniversary show.
I am excited too. It looks, in the immortal words of Barry Manilow, looks like we made it.
Ah,
So
I hate that song.
I like Barry.
I can't take too much Barry Manilow.
So anyway, I grew up in the 70s. You're not much.
Well, I did too.
No, not much. But
Yeah, I did.
so yeah, we're moving on from this one. So the thing is that we have. Should we announce it now? I guess. Go ahead and get this.
Oh, the big announcement.
Mhm.
Well, I'm not seeing a lot of people here in chat, so I'm wondering, should we wait till like 10 after?
Okay, that seems fair enough. We can wait until then. Let's see here. What was I going to say before I jumped?
K28 has a mind like a steel trap. There's your announcement.
What, did he say something in chat there?
Yeah, he's just reminiscing about our very first show.
Well, our very first show wasn't necessarily about him. That was another show altogether. But
Well, yeah, we'll get into that later.
did he bring up the laundry thing?
Yes. So how did you know?
Because I know that every time he starts talking about the show, he cracks up about you don't have much time for doing whatever, and so you needed to get to laundry or something to that effect.
Yeah. I don't recall where episode 1 went.
Mm-hmm. Well, those early days of Spaceboy Universe were kind of like touch and go because we were learning our craft, and they were new, they were fresh, they were less than an hour long, and now we do a 3-hour show, and who would have thunk that? So that's pretty exciting, right?
Yes, indeed.
Mm-hmm. So, as we're still waiting for people to pile into the auditorium here, I want to introduce you to the new iPhone. No, just kidding. So
It's a funny.
I'm sorry. Sometimes I hit them, and sometimes I miss them. As you will learn.
You've been on fire this week.
There's something. I guess I don't know how to explain it.
Is
other
it cooler? Have we had cooler temperatures yet?
We haven't really had. I mean,
No, we haven't.
there's been some cloud cover and stuff like that, but beyond that, there's not been much. It's been like 90 degrees here in Houston, Texas.
It's so.
Yeah, leave it or keep it or leave it.
We'll never stop sweating. That's basically.
I think we have half a day of winter when it comes here in Houston, and then we're off to other things, I guess.
We have an air quality alert. That's the most that's going on right now.
So, but yeah, someday it'll get cool down here, and it'll be what it is. But Surlana, we could do this. Why don't we do this? I have a clip of our first year. Of some of the things that we.
That's a surprise to me.
Yeah, of blast from the past. This would be a great chance for people to kind of give an idea of what the universe is all about when we've done our shows. Some of it was like when we were tragically sick, but out of it came great comedy. So why don't we give it a listen?
And now, here's a
Blast from the past.
I'm sure you might have that information, do you?
I don't have that information because as much as I enjoy this subject, I'm between loads of laundry, so I don't have a lot of time.
Hey, Surlana, if they want to become a friend of the show on Facebook, what do they need to do?
Well, I mean, they're going to have to pass a few tests. We're thinking about enforcing that, that American Ninja Warrior thing. That might be a good one to see who's really worthy and really wants it bad enough.
I turn to you, Surlana, and ask you, how does it look out there? Are we actually getting people listening that, compared to last year?
Well, last year when we had no such thing as a webcast, when no one was listening.
What I meant was...
So things are looking up.
Surlana, would you like to start off by saying a few words to kick us off, or
like, dear Lord, please bless this webcast to that kind of words, or
it means love when your wife turns over in bed and she looks at you and she says, "You know what? I just want to punch you in the face."
I just want to punch you in the face.
Just because you're just so good looking.
If you do not call in within the next 2 minutes, I'm going to talk about cultural imperialism theory. 713-701-5214, or I'm going to talk about theory. Yes, call in with your favorite pie recipe. We'll put it on the internet. And apparently Spaceboy doesn't like my diet iced tea.
Oh, that is
I'm not crazy
nasty.
about it. It's not what I thought it was going to be either. But life is full of disappointments.
That's like finding leaves on the ground in a puddle and then boiled to make some kind of drink that.
Yeah, that's their new fall line: boiled leaves in a puddle.
Well, I mean, that's exactly how. I mean, I love tea, but that was just nasty. E.T. The extraterrestrial.
God, no!
Where did that come from? I must be thinking of.
I'm gonna say it. E.T. the extra testicle.
I did not mean that. I think our audience knows better than that. I think it just didn't come across correctly.
I don't feel well.
In fact, I've heard that they want to use the voice of. Why do I always get a brain fart when I'm like right on?
Because you're under pressure, and you're live, and there could be lots of people listening.
Who did Willy Wonka? Gene Hackman? No, not Gene Hackman.
Oh my gosh! I would pay money to see Gene Hackman as Willy Wonka.
Wrong Gene. Anyway,
somebody call Hollywood.
So Gene.
Oh my God!
Is it Gene Wild?
Gene Hackman.
Gene Wild. Hey, tune in here.
Wait, no, I want to write this down.
Gene Wilder? Is it Wild?
Yes,
there.
Dear.
So there you go. A little blast from the past. That was our first year of
It
craziness.
still makes me laugh.
There was a couple moments there, Surlana, where we were really under the weather, especially the Gene Hackman slash Gene Wilder thing.
E.T.
You could definitely,
Hear it
the
in the
E.T. You can hear it like I
I
congestion.
used to be a lot funnier. I have just been worn down.
I think I've had you chained up to the desk too long. Mm-hmm. The position of executive producer has really worn you down.
And
And tea, the puddle tea.
that was brilliant. I mean, you'd almost think this stuff was scripted, but that was so off the cuff. It's like boiled leaves in a puddle.
Oh, it was
It's the most disgusting.
so nasty. I mean, I think it was the asphalt mixed in with the water, and it just didn't bode well. But anyway, we're jibber jabbering here, and you're listening to the SBU. It's
go ahead
Saturday
and
night.
go ahead and do it.
I
Just do
appreciate
it. Do
it.
it.
Let's see
the
here.
big announcement.
Let me get my notes up here real quick here. Yes, this is live when it's broadcasted. Let's see here today. All right. So here's the official announcement, everybody, that we've been wanting to tell you for some time, but here it is. It's our anniversary. What a better way to announce this. So coming next Tuesday, on the 3rd of October, we'll be rebroadcasted on Paranormal UK Radio Network. We'll bring our comedy styles that we've been doing for some time now.
If you want to call it that.
To the Paranormal UK Radio Network. And, we'll be pretty, jazzed to do that. So it's next week on the Paranormal UK Radio Network at 10 p.m. GMT Eastern Time.
And you will be hearing this broadcast for the first time over there.
Yeah. So, that's exciting because, we're spreading the brand out all over Europe. And did I say something funny again?
I said now. I put in chat now for the big announcement, and my sister put, he's pregnant.
Oh, man. I am plump like I'm pregnant. But anyway, that's a different story altogether. But, yeah, it's going to be 10 p.m.
See, it does run in the family.
10 p.m. GMT Eastern, 9 p.m. Central, 8 p.m. Mountain, 7 p.m. Pacific, 11 p.m. for the rest of Europe. So, you'll just have to check your time zone. So go to the paranormal or paukradio.com to get the full details on a showtime in your time zone. But we're excited. I guess an extension of that, the shows will also be heard on TalkStream Live, TuneIn Radio, Planet FM, Auto Radio, and I guess StreamFinder.com. So this is really exciting news. And first off, we want to thank Irene and Mark for inviting us on to their network.
It was fun to talk to him. Irene is the genuine English lady. It was great to hear her. And she has an English bulldog, which we could hear snorting in the background. So that was awesome. And I got to talk to her about English things and little Jane Austen, and that was so awesome. So
Surlana got her Jane Austen on, and I guess she was just excited. And when it comes to Europe, we do like European things, and especially can't say enough about the British programming we like to watch. So there's a certain appreciation for all things Europe, and we're just glad to get a chance to broadcast out to y'all, and y'all meaning Europe and beyond. Canada, I think, is also in that mix. So I guess we've kind of reached Canada. We've got some Canadians that listen to our show, and we appreciate them dearly, and they know that, especially when they behave themselves. And so, but we love everyone here at the Universe, and so I guess at this point, let me tell you a little bit about Spaceboy Universe.
now,
Yeah, I guess we could talk about that. Tell this new audience that's listening.
I
what we're all
thought
about.
we were going to do that from the break. But professional.
Yeah, because we'll after the bottom of the hour, we'll get into shows and stuff like that and things we've covered. But I wanted to give everybody. There's many space cadets. First off, if you listen to the show, you're a space cadet. That's kind of the nickname we've given our audience, and it works well. And so, congratulations, you're now an official Space Cadet. So, the origin stories of Spaceboy Universe. Well, this all started back in the late 90s. I'm a musician / entertainer, and so I've been writing music for the masses. Started back in 1999. I took the name Spaceboy from the song from David Bowie called "Hello, Spaceboy," and at that point in '99, my first album was Workshop, spelled kind of like in the way Kraftwerk spells their words, and from that point, that's when I started putting out music for the masses. Now, I've been writing music much longer than that, but that's the beginning of Spaceboy. So we flash forward many years into the future. I'm practically almost on my 20th album, by the way. But I got to a point where it was like, I've been doing this for a while. Maybe it's time to do something new. And, I've always been a big fan of overnight talk radio. And one of those people was Art Bell. And so I always got into the fringe topics, and it was always great to try to stay up late and figure out some way to record some episodes with tape, of all things, back then when I was listening to it. But, time goes on. He left Coast to Coast, then he came back, and then he went to XM. And then there was this period where he was going to, transition into the net, which I was pretty excited because he was going to do, I guess, his own network called the Dark Matter Radio Network. And I thought, okay, I'm going to get invested in the people that are on there and listen to, one of which are a good friend of the show, and her here on this network, and the PAUK is Solaris Blue Raven. She was on there. That's when I got to, listen to her, and I was like, wow, she's awesome. And then another person on that network, just starting off, was Jimmy Church. And I knew immediately when I heard Jimmy that, hey, this guy's going to go somewhere. And, he sounded awesome. I enjoyed the topic. He had a great vibrato, deep voice, and so I listened. So I guess about 6 months into the program, I had heard, I'd listened to his opening theme, and I thought, I'd like to redo it and see what he says, just not expecting anything. Well, I sent it to him, he liked it, and he used it for his opening theme. And so I was like, wow, that's great, exciting stuff, and so time went on, and I finally got to meet Jimmy at Contact in the Desert, and saw how his setup was, and learned and kind of watched the master at work, so to speak. And so, I started to think, I could probably do this myself because I've got all this music equipment and recording equipment. I could take a crack at it. I like to talk about stuff, and I'm halfway funny sometimes. So at that point, it was another Contact in the Desert trip. We went out back to the desert and hung out with all them, and I think it was at that point I was like, I really think I might have a show here. And when I was thinking this in my mind, it was that Surlana and I would always have these conversations in the car about just different subjects, especially subjects that we talk about, we've talked about over the past several years now. And some of the times, we had our father-in-law in the back seat, and he would laugh at us and be entertained. And I thought, this would make a great show. So that's kind of more or less the point where September was coming up, and I kind of roped Surlana into this whole thing. Now, keep in mind that Surlana is not the kind of person back then. If you had said, I want to put you in front of a microphone.
I'm still not that person.
You've come a long way.
I'm still waiting to get fired.
And
it's going to happen. I know. I can feel it.
No, it's never going to happen. So basically, I got her in behind a mic, and we started recording. And that was on a late September. I say it's the 27th is the actual start date of when we started doing SBU. And so, we celebrate the Spaceboy Universe now. I guess it's the last Saturday of September. And so at that point, we started off on YouTube. and started looking at other things like Spreaker, but YouTube was the beginning, and that's how it all started from that point. Do you want to chime in here, Surlana, while I take a sip?
Sure. Like I said, this whole broadcast thing was your idea, and I thought, hey, that's great. You're perfect. You're natural. You've got the right kind of voice, the tone. You've got a deep voice. You have a genuine passion and curiosity for the subjects you want to talk about. And it would be one more thing where you'll be locked away in a room doing something where I can go be doing whatever I want to do without being questioned. So little did I know I had to get involved, and you said, just come help me, just sit here and talk to me, and I'll tape it. Now, I think you fooled me into saying you would take out my responses where that way you could help build a show around that. And those were pre-recorded. So I wasn't taking it seriously. That's why I said, look, I don't have a lot of time. I've got laundry because I can't leave all the laundry in there for the whole cycle. I need to take some out, hang it up, because we don't own an ironing board, because that's just barbaric. Mm-hmm. So I didn't want to leave that unattended. So I helped him out and think, okay, well, that's great. That's kind of fun. So, okay, bye. And here we are 2 years later. And I still don't know when I'm going to be let go.
But see, that's exactly, I recorded you and you removed, it was just you and I having a conversation, which it's that genuineness that comes across between you and I when we broadcast. And to the many people that know us, that are out in our audience, that have actually gotten to know us closer, I'll mention one right off the bat, fairly recent in the past. K28 came down to Houston, and we
not just to see us.
He was here in a business meeting, but he squeezed some time in for us, little people. But he sat down. We had dinner together, and one of the comments he made, he said, "It's just like listening to the show." That's how we are. Bob and Bev, longtime listeners of the show, will also tell you that when they've talked to us, we're genuine. We are who we are. We don't pretend to be anybody else. I mean, I might have my dramatic moments, but and Surlana might have that eye-rolling moments, but pretty much that's what we are. And we knew that we could not be beyond that. To give you a show that was, because we would get into a territory where we'd come across fake, and the best thing to do is just be honest, be yourself, and those are some of the virtues that we bring to the show, because we just want everybody to come in, have a good time, and not feel like it's like, oh, this show sucks, that kind of thing.
Well, like I said, you mentioned this, I am an extreme introvert, but I can fake it long enough to get through a work day at work, and that's as much as I can do. I get terrible anxiety in public places around other people. I don't want people standing close to me. I don't want them breathing on me. I don't want them touching me. I don't want to look at. Yeah, I got loads of problems. So it's kind of safe because we're in our little room in our house,
our studio,
where there's no video, and I can easily pretend there's no one listening. Like I'm just talking to you and there's no one else.
Most of the time you hide behind your monitor or I can't see.
Well, I can't help that.
Earlier it was so cold
I can't do like this.
You look like, what was it, Senator Palpatine with the...
Oh, I have a blanket over my head because it's so cold.
I got worried because when your hands came up, I thought you were going to electrocute me or something,
Oh, if only. That's not changed. I don't know. It doesn't bother me anymore to think that you're listening. Because I'm not listening. Most of the time I don't go back and listen to these unless we get a compliment from
Every once
guest.
in a while I hear you are listening to the show. There's sometimes on Sunday when we're going grocery shopping, you might peek in on, okay, what happened last night, when we have a great guest on or something.
And I just listen to the guest.
And it's like,
the guest does all the talking. Yeah.
Did we have that person on? I can't believe that. What did we deserve to get that guest on?
I feel like the last 5 shows,
I don't know if the quality of the sound is improved, but I swear you can hear me breathing heavy. And I think it's just because my allergies. I cannot breathe.
What I need to do is fix the compressor to eliminate a lot of background noises, like us typing on our keyboards, and you sound like Darth Vader over there, and
I don't know why.
it's probably because the microphone
I am stuffed up half the time.
is like aimed at your nose or something, and I can't tell because you're hiding there.
Well, you don't need to see anything.
Well, I like to make sure you're alive over there, so
I don't think anybody would notice.
I generally love you over there, and I'd hate for you to pass out, and halfway into the show, I'm by myself.
You're gonna make me faint from all this emotion. Jeez.
So, but yeah, that's exactly what you get. We're honest. You hear what we're talking, and it's all good. And it's almost like you come over, you're hanging out with Spaceboy and Surlana, and we're just bonding and having a good old time. So that kind of gives you an idea of what we're all about, and in a sense of how the show has started, and where we're at, where we're going.
And we're not professionals. We didn't go to any training. We didn't have any. He just wanted to do it, and I don't have a way to get out of it. So.
Well, I mean, she says that, but the reality is that there have been moments where she may not show you. It's like that person that is crying, but don't look at me. I'm not crying. She I guess she does enjoy doing this. There's been a couple times where she said, "How." I just lost my train of thought here for a second.
I was thinking, the show doesn't make me cry.
I saw the Twitter board just refresh, and you're still in there. But
you can see. Oh,
yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
That's distracting to you.
Yeah, it just threw me off for a second. Anyway, we have a Twitter board. It's basically a monitor, so we can track to see who's tweeting and get who makes a comment in the show, so we can broadcast it live on the show and make it. That's another thing about the show now. It's very dynamic. We have our Twitter account, and we're monitoring that. We take calls and all that good stuff, and I mean, it's really fantastic to see where we've been. Because originally, when we started doing the show, it was basically my music studio, and I had added certain components to do the microphones and everything, so we could do the show in here with my music equipment. Then we moved it out into another room to be separate. So there was like an SBU studio, and then we had my music studio. And
now are all together again.
We're all together again, but just the way it's repositioned. The nice thing is that I had an opportunity. I repainted this room and made it spacey looking. And what do you think? When I started painting all this, I imagine you were like, "Oh my God, he's going to mess this up."
No, well, you know me. I just don't care that deeply.
Once again,
about this house.
You know how to just bring it home, don't you?
No, about the house and what you do to it. I mean, I'm just like put a match to it. It's. I think once it got. We started adding the galaxy looks. I started having fun with it. So, and once it was done, I was just like, "Hey, this is really come together." And the shelves were my idea. I thought that was pretty cool.
No,
and,
I actually listened to you.
And the soundproofed
boards
boards were my idea.
Yeah, cover up the windows so they'll reduce the sound.
So I had some good ideas. Yeah.
So,
it feels like
a studio.
Yeah, it put a different feeling in the room.
Because could you imagine before this room was like, what is it?
Just regular beige.
White beige looking and very vanilla. And I mean, there's stars on the ceiling, and I mean, you got some aggression now when you threw some stars on the ceiling. And anyway, it was fun to do. I'm sure my lungs got black with all the paint because I wasn't putting any kind of thing over my face.
Probably got lung cancer or something.
But at the end of the day, it looks great. We have a studio. We've got the equipment, and it's just very exciting. And
Sorry, see now I moved the mic down, and it's hitting against everything.
Well,
so there you go.
You just need to stop flapping your hands like Kermit the Frog over there. Hey, oh, Kermit the Frog! So evil eyes. There goes the eye rolls. I called it.
Well, it's up that time.
So Surlana, why don't we take a little musical break? That's what we do here at SBU, is that we take commercial breaks, which are really just a fancy way of me playing some of my original music. So here's one, and when we come back, I'll explain a little bit about this song. And you're listening to SBU on the SBU network and the Paranormal Radio. Well, hold on, I got to get this right. Paranormal UK Radio Network. So don't touch that dial. If I may, for a second, Surlana, Spaceboy Music brings you a lot of great tunes here on the SBU, and, every break is chocked full of original Spaceboy music. You can get your own original Spaceboy music by going to spaceboymusic.com and check out all the groovy stuff that's there. My latest album is called Unique Technique, and for 17 tracks, you get 17 tracks, of course, for just a simple $10. That's American dollars, by the way. But if you go there, check out all the tunes. You can buy singles. You don't have to necessarily buy the whole albums. But just pick and choose whatever you want, and it's there. So spaceboymusic.com. Go get you some cool stuff today. So we're back, and where did we leave off, Surlana? Did that throw you for a loop?
Well, yeah. Speaking of Spaceboy music,
Yeah.
did you say that there's a possibility Spaceboy music live, quote unquote, may come back the show?
Yeah, in fact, I'm glad you brought that up because, I used to do a show on Friday nights. Well, first it was on Wednesdays, and then it got moved to Fridays. And then, I guess the last Spaceboy music show I did was back in May. And so I am working towards creating another Spaceboy music show that can be heard on the SBU network. And, you check it out. I'm working on original content. I think it's overdue. And plus, usually when I work on music for the music show, usually that develops into albums, which develops into new stuff that you can buy. And it's all good and really cool stuff. So, yeah, Spaceboy Music will hopefully make its triumphant return very soon, and I'm kind of excited about that because I've got new stuff to create new sounds, and there's new stuff that's just ready to just get out there. And the best way to do it is spaceboymusic.com and listen to the Spaceboy Music Show. And Senator Palpatine, are you over there? Or you actually look like Dr. Smith from Lost in Space.
I'm cold, all right? Don't go changing the air, though.
I already did.
Because it's easier to cover up than it is to sit here and feel weird.
Yeah, but, I start aching my whole body. I'm not as young as I used to be.
Senator Palpatine.
You didn't catch the Lost in Space reference.
You're closer to his age. Hey! Guess what?
What?
Caller.
Okay, well, let's take a caller.
There? Caller?
Hi,
Hello, Bev. How are you doing, dear?
I'm doing fine. How are you doing?
I'm doing fantastic. Surlana's cold, but I'm frigid right now. I imagine...
I had to put... Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say, it's probably a good thing that we keep it cold in here because we do have a lot of electronics in here, and I can only imagine if there was no air circulating in here that it would probably be a toaster in here. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4 computers, monitors, mic equipment, lamps. You name it. There's a lot of energy in here that I'm just surprised is not warming up the room, but I digress. So back to you, Bev.
Well, that and it would probably overheat.
Oh, yeah.
The equipment.
Y'all wouldn't get a chance to hear the show.
Yeah. But congratulations, you two.
Can you believe it? 2 years, Bev.
I know. I can't get over it.
I finally got your name right. I don't call you Fran anymore.
Yeah.
Well, we don't see Fran no more, so...
I see her occasionally on my social media wall, but, I haven't heard from her in a while, but remember the good old days? I'd call you Fran?
Oh, yeah. and there was a joke that I was her other self.
Mm-hmm. She didn't mind. She was on board with it.
She thought it was funny.
It was funny.
And then when she would call, you would call her Bev.
Yes, I would switch them.
Oh, Lord.
Hey, we've done such great programming here on SBU. Is there a moment, a show that just you can recall that like, oh, I remember that. That was a good show. Or, when you were talking about this. Anything that comes to mind, Bev?
Well, I can't remember his name. Mm-hmm. But the one guy you had on there that was talking about his ghost investigations.
Mm-hmm. That was the most recent one.
Is that more recent or is it older?
I guess you
might.
The
older one.
Older one. Ghost investigation.
Ghost investigation. Mm-hmm.
We had on. Well, I actually have a list here of
That's sad that we can't remember, because we don't do many ghost investigations. I mean, I know that Mark Johnson was on last week, which now we're a part of his network. He was quite interesting. Yeah, 2 weeks ago. And a really outstanding guy and fun to talk to.
That was good.
And we really enjoyed him. He was chocked full of information, and it just blew me away because after that show, he got with Irene, and he, hey, you should listen to the show. And
I guess we impressed him.
We impressed him.
Oh, wow, that's cool.
And then
that's how you grow, really, is by word of mouth.
Oh, really? I thought it was like you took vitamins and took care of yourself, and as a child, you kind of.
You see what I have to live with?
Oh, boy! I know. I'm married to one, so I know how you are. I know how you feel.
And how is Bob tonight?
He's not feeling too good. He had a bad night last night, and he's got quite a headache, so he's resting.
Well, you make sure to give him hugs from us, and tell him that.
I sure will.
We think the world of both of y'all, and it wouldn't be a show without one of y'all calling in, and as we've spoken recently in private messages, remember, I've always got y'all's back, and this is a safe place to come and listen and hang out with like-minded individuals.
That's all right.
Now, don't go crying on me, Bev.
Oh, I won't. Oh, golly, it's like, what's so funny, Surlana?
I'm peeping at him because I was trying to. I didn't know how I was going to reference that meme from YouTube where it's a recording of a young lady calling, I guess, her boyfriend or something. I love you and I miss you. And the way she cries is so weird. So they sampled her crying and they put it to a video of two race cars about to take off.
Oh, God. Oh, God. I bet that was hilarious.
It is. Well, I watch crazy stuff like that all the time, so.
Oh, excuse me. My allergies are giving me fits.
Oh, my God. I have not been right since the hurricane. Ooh, we've got a second caller, Bev.
Oh, boy.
We do a tag team?
Well, Bev,
sure.
Let's do this.
If they're all in our family.
Yeah.
Let's see if I can get it to work. Are you there, caller?
I'm here.
I have won that bet.
How are you?
I won that bet.
What bet is this?
I bet it's Kay.
Is it Kay?
Yes, it is.
Kay?
Hi, Kay.
Couldn't resist.
Hi. Now your announcement is as sweet as peppermint and spearmint.
I told him he could say that.
Oh, you sanctioned him to do it, huh?
Yeah, I said you should call in and say that.
Well, how are you, Kay?
I'm fine. Happy anniversary.
Thank you. We appreciate it. You have always been a big supporter of the universe, and it would not be... how can I rephrase this? You are as much a space cadet as anybody can ever imagine. Kay has been there. He's done things behind the scenes. He's been a big supporter, and he is definitely one class act.
He'd be there wearing the shirt, the cap, and the pennant if he had that.
And a Buc-ee's cup.
Oh, yeah. Thank you for those. Yeah.
Don't forget the Buc-ee's.
That's right. Now, the UK doesn't know what you're talking about.
Yes, Buc-ee's is... Oh, my gosh. How would one describe it? It is a Texas phenomenon. It is not anywhere outside, I guess... Is it the Triangle? What you call the Austin, Dallas,
I think they're
Houston?
thinking about putting one in Florida, but they're here in Texas.
No, Florida doesn't deserve it.
But the thing is, it's a convenience store, I guess, where you go to get gas or petro or, depending on
There's two versions. There's the little version, and then there's the Mega Ultra. And the reason they're really famous-ish, like local legends here, is the big ones it is not a truck stop. It is a commuter stop. You know, it's just for us regular folk. But they have the most awesome restrooms, bathrooms.
They're clean. You just, it's unheard of.
Yeah, but the thing is, it's not just where, you know, you go in and it's a stall. You have your own enclosed floor-to-ceiling room with your own personal hand sanitizer in there, and I mean, you could like set up house in there.
And if you think that's phenomenal, is that the front end of the house, basically you can get all, like, if you want jerky, you want candy, you want soda, you want water. They've got a deli there. They make their own food items. I mean, it is basically an oasis in the middle of nowhere. Now, for many people that don't know this, Texas is huge. It takes you practically 10 hours to get from one side of Texas to the other side of Texas. So where we live in Houston, if you're heading towards San Antonio, which is heading west, and there is one that's almost centered between the two destinations, and it is really a sight for sore eyes to drive up to this thing and to be able to take a pit stop, if you will. And have a little treat when you're there. So, yeah, that's what Buc-ee's is all about. Now, we tell the story about this and let you know what Buc-ee's is all about.
Because it gets referenced a lot.
K28 came to Houston and had an opportunity to go to Buc-ee's. I guess I get this idea in my head, K28, is that you pretty much stood there and looked at it and didn't bother to go in.
You admired it from afar, like across the street or something.
And yet, you've been like the biggest Buc-ee's promoter. So, but yeah, you've had this love thing for Buc-ee's and obsession, and you never stepped in it. But
imagine if we could get him a Buc-ee's train set. That would just be the ultimate, you know.
That would be like having a crush on a girl and never telling her.
You behave, Beth.
That's awesome.
Why?
Beth.
That's no fun.
Yeah.
But, you know, at least we did K28 a solid, and we picked them up a few things from Buc-ee's and sent it out to him in California. And, you know, we wanted to give him a taste of Buc-ee's, you know, to kind of entice him when he comes back this way to actually stop and go inside and check one out.
If you ever come back, go into a real large Buc-ee's. Don't go into the little dinky one because it's just like a regular gas store.
I promise that. So.
Where's one? There's one in Pearland, and then there's one going west out of 59 in there.
Well, there's a few, and you know, like I said, it's an experience, you know, because it takes the convenience store to a new level.
Leanne and I might get to go to one fairly soon.
Well, good for you.
Won't that be fun?
All right. Well, guys,
I always thought Buc-ee's was a restaurant.
Well, it does have a lot of food, and they are making food in there, like deli stuff, you know, sandwiches, and they make their own jerky and popcorn balls. And
it's called Beaver Nuts.
We've got another call.
Okay, well, guys, we're going to let you go, but you know, one, I want to make sure quickly, y'all know, we love you both. We appreciate you both, and Bob too. We hope he gets better, and we couldn't have. You know, all these years, or these couple of years, y'all have really made it to where
They're OG Space Cadets.
You are the original OGs.
Yeah.
So, you know,
Listen, OGs.
You have a spot in our heart always.
Well,
that was a great dinner we had.
Yeah. We'll come back to Houston, and we'll have another one.
Yes.
At a different one.
And one day we'll get up to Ohio, Bev.
Oh, that would be cool.
Yes. Give you a hug in person.
Okay.
Thank you, Kay. Thank you, Bev.
Bye. Have a good evening.
Love you both. Love you, Kay.
Kisses.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
All right.
That was hysterical.
Who do we have next up?
I bet I know who this is. Are you there, caller? Let me unmute you.
I am here. I'm here.
Are you there, Miss Michelle?
This is Miss Michelle.
Oh, the goddess Michelle.
Our other Canadian friend.
We love Canadians. They're quite tasty.
Well, start with Quebec first, please, and leave us alone. I was hoping you were going to pop me on with Bev and Kay.
Oh,
okay.
I'm sorry.
Chaos.
Yeah, that's one thing that's it's hard to hear with everybody, and so we try to limit the times when we do the group call.
Oh, it's okay. It's all good.
But
we don't want to stress the systems too much.
No, you're right. Things might blow up. All this goodness in one spot.
So how are you this
Are you guys
evening?
there?
Yeah, we're here. Well,
I'm good. I'm good. Happy anniversary.
Thank you.
I had a very hard night at work, so I said I'm really stupid tonight. My stupidity level is at its max.
Uh-oh.
So, it's all right. It's all right. I'm here. Made it.
Well,
Listening.
Surlana would say the same thing to me.
Announcement. Yeah. I made it. Just here. Anyway.
We
happy
appreciate you.
Well, thank you.
Oh, well, I appreciate you guys.
Hey,
I appreciate you.
Do you have a
Space
favorite?
Station.
Do you have a favorite show you've heard,
Or moment?
a moment?
Or thing that we do. Or...
Yeah, or something crazy.
Sorry to make it about us.
Yeah, well, I mean, it is the
No,
show.
it is about you. It is about you. I don't know. It's hard to. Well, there was one show in particular, and I missed part of it because I was so late getting home from work, and so I ended up re-listening to it. And I listened to it 3 times.
Wow.
And because I'm on my high stupidity level, I cannot tell you what that show was, but it was one where I sent a message out on Twitter that was like the best show I've, not just yours, but on all the podcasts.
Was it the Shadow Government?
That was yes, the Shadow Government.
We didn't have a guest; it was just us.
And it was just so excellently done. I told you I'm on my total stupid list today.
Well, as long as you've heard the show, you're in good company with me.
Every time you play it, it counts. So
I can even give you,
Yes.
the Gene Hackman, Gene Wilder thing. I mean, that has just been a joke with me ever since I laid that one down and couldn't remember. But yeah, it's it is what it is, and don't worry about it. And we love you just the same, and. We appreciate you.
I had to call in tonight. I knew I had to call in tonight. It's the anniversary, and I hadn't called in for a while.
You haven't?
Ta-da, I'm here.
Well,
no,
technically you called in, but it was private. So
yeah, it was a private call for the show.
We've had a couple of those, and they're quite all right. We don't mind going the extra mile and talking to the listening audience, and
Well, it was a different issue anyway.
Right.
It was a Surlana and my moment. Okay, we were having a girl time.
We were having a girl time.
That's all right because we're whether it's Surlana or myself or both of us, different strokes for different folks.
Well, I'll tell you something. One night, I remember way back, probably first year, and you had call-ins happening. And I'll tell this to the whole audience because they should hear this. Now, this is the above and beyond you guys are. I called in, and you guys seen I tried to call in, but it was too late. But I'd been trying because there was other people on the line that night. And you guys called me after the show and talked to me. And that was the world. And I still rock my SBU T-shirt, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm always telling people what that means.
We're good. We're glad. And that just kind of shows you what kind of people we are, right? I mean, we're not lying.
Yes.
What you hear on the radio is what we are in person and on the phone. Yeah,
that's just it. And I like the safe place. I like being able to type. You know what? This isn't feeling right, and this sort of talking is exactly why I don't talk in the other chat. Mm-hmm. And it stopped right there. It stopped, and I love that because you can't. It gets out of control so quick, and you can see it. And you're like, they're not watching the chat as you're not able to watch the chat as you talk and do things. Right? It's like you guys in the chat need to put your brakes on because you're going a whole different direction than this show is. And it's beautiful because then it all stops. It stops, and you guys are like wonderful.
We try to keep the chat, orderly. And I can I be honest here for a second? My mother, before she passed away, she had a heart. It was late '90s, almost turn of the century, And I know that's funny to
Well,
say it that way.
it's true.
It
Literal.
is true. But she was having problems because she was getting into chat rooms, and the whole internet thing was new for her, and she was being bullied a lot. And
in these chat rooms?
In these chat rooms. And, it just depressed me. And my mother, she was bipolar and easily got depressed. And when she get frustrated, it just compounded the fact of these individuals that, she was just trying to hang out with these people. And you had these trolls in these chat rooms. And so...
Almost like they can smell them.
Right.
When there's a weak person, right?
So I feel like, when I don't want that to happen to other people that, I've created a room, we've created a program where we want people to come in, have a good time, listen to our talk, communicate in our chat rooms, and feel like they're not going to be attacked in any way. And so that's how I've handled that.
Yes. And that's wonderful, and I love that.
And we don't even mind when people in the chat room aren't even talking about what we're talking about. Like, as long as y'all are happy, that's fine.
And that's how we like to roll.
Mm-hmm.
If y'all want to swap pie recipes, that's cool.
A happy chat is a happy group, right? Like when you have everybody's happy, it's nice. I'm going to give a shout out to everybody in the chat, and I haven't looked at the chat for a few minutes, so I'm going to say Kay, Bev, Bob's not there, but hi Bob anyway, when he listens to it later. Jaeger, Jenny, oh gosh, I can't remember everybody else. Maybe Jean by now, I don't know. Hi Jean, sweetie. Anyway, yeah, and whatnot. Okay, and hi to, Surlana and Spaceboy.
Well, howdy.
Anyway, I've taken enough of your time.
Well, Michelle,
thank you guys for everything you do. You're wonderful.
We appreciate you sticking with us, and here's to more years to come, okay?
Oh, yes, definitely.
Awesome.
You call upon me. If you ever need anything, call upon me. You know how to find Nova Scotia.
Yes, and the same
Scotia.
here in good old Texas.
That's right. Okay, love yous all.
All
Take
right.
care.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
All right.
When I think of her,
What's
and I've
that?
never met her in person, but
Nova Scotia.
I just see the Wonder Woman headband on her and the wrist cuffs for some reason.
As Wonder Woman?
Yeah, I just see her as Wonder Woman.
That's interesting. But, Michelle, we appreciate her. She's wearing an SBU shirt. We gave a few of those out many moons ago.
Many moons ago, because, I don't know.
I haven't really talked to you or discussed this with you, but I'm actually thinking about creating some shirts instead of, going through our process of Redbubble, which Redbubble is the place where we have those shirts, but...
think we got another call.
Oh, it's close to the top of the hour.
Well, you want me to just put her on hold for a minute?
No, let's go ahead and take it, and then we'll take a...
This is a VIP.
Okay, well,
Sorry.
if it's Miss Tiddlywinks, and then I guess you're smiling over there.
It's the horse wrangler,
the horse whisperer?
herself, and 1, 2, 3. Are you there?
I'm here. Happy anniversary. And, I have to take total issue with the tiddlywinks. What the heck?
It's my Pookie.
Pookie. Some of the things that she says about you, Leanne, some of these cutesy names that she has for you, I guess...
Right.
Oh, that's what I was trying to think. Pookie.
That's the only cutesy name. The other names I have are something we can't
discuss
on the air.
Yeah, and the FCC would take umbrage at that.
If the FCC knew about us,
If they knew about it.
They
of
don't
course
know
they
it
know
exists.
about it.
Well, I know you've been a longtime friend of the family, and you've also been, with us since day one of our show, and we appreciate that.
Right.
And so, would you like to spill the beans on any show or anything in particular?
She doesn't know anything.
I know stuff.
She supports us.
I know
mentally, spiritually, sometimes financially through a generous donation, and she's there behind the scenes for all kind of stuff that can't be bought with money. So she's not buying it.
Like a sugar mama. You're not buying it at all.
You wish.
I'm not buying it at all. I know, don't I though?
That would probably make your life easier.
It would, wouldn't it?
Mm-hmm. But we.
No, I love the show. I do listen every chance I can. I do.
And we appreciate that. We know you're busy with the horses and stuff.
Well, she does horse rescue. She's active in horse rescue online, so she really is busy. Other than also being a wife, a mother, a daughter, a zookeeper. So
exactly,
a zookeeper. Yeah.
Well, how many horses have you got? Do you have what? 6 horses, 1 donkey, 2 minis, a cat, 2 cats, a dog.
Actually, it's 7 horses, and right now 3 mini horses, a donkey, and then of course the dog, cats.
And of course, also I've heard you have 2 kids.
Well, if you count Randy.
See, I knew.
Yeah.
That's her husband.
If you count Randy as a kid, yeah. Right? No. Yeah. No, I find a lot of the stuff y'all talk about on the show really interesting, and I like listening to it. I mean,
Well, this is the first I'm hearing of it.
It's interesting.
That you've listened to it.
It's interesting. I do. I may not say anything, but I do. I mean, not to you, but yeah.
Well, that's the beauty of the program.
Just keep it to yourself.
That's
then.
the beauty of the program is she's pointing out that she listens and she'll agree to disagree or I've never heard that before, but bless your heart, that kind of thing.
Well, no, it's not that kind of thing. It's like I like to hear varying opinions on things. I like to have somebody throw something out there I've never thought about before and maybe just don't quite buy, but I like to just kind of have that to mull over anyhow. So, doesn't hurt.
She was the earliest supporter of the concept. Once we started doing this and getting rolling and having it on either YouTube or Spreaker or both, and she was able to listen to it. She's not the type to blow smoke up one's posterior. Even if you're a good friend, I think she would give some helpful critiques. If it was this important to me and whatnot. So, otherwise, she wouldn't even be calling in. If she didn't believe,
right?
Unless you are blowing smoke up posteriors.
No, I'm not. No, I truly love the show. I do. I think it's great. I think you guys have great chemistry on the air. I like the variety of topics that you cover. I like the fact that I think your show is unique in that, you don't just stick to one very limited genre. You branch out, you open up, and you cover a lot of stuff. And a lot of times you find stuff that I haven't heard of, and I'm interested. I think it's fascinating. So I don't agree with all your guests, but it's cool.
We don't necessarily either, but we're not going to tell you which ones. But the thing is to let them come in, have their say, and go, okay, that's interesting, and
it's like I've said through this program, Leanne, is that the moment we close our mind off to the possibilities of what's out there, we're basically we might as well be an idiot on a hill.
I completely agree.
Is that the name of your next album, An Idiot on a Hill?
I think the Beatles already did the Fool on the Hill, but
oh man,
yeah.
But that's why I like listening to different opinions. Things I've never heard of before, and you're right. When we established the show, the show was initially inspired by a French show, and I didn't want to be a clone. I wanted to have something unique and
Right.
different. And I still wanted to do those topics, but I wanted to branch out into other topics that were appealing, like history, gaming, music, pop culture, and technology. And I think it's worked so far.
Oh, I think it really has. I think you've got something really unique and really marketable, and it's it's a shame. I think you're getting to the point to where more people are beginning to hear about you, and I think it's going to be good.
Mm-hmm. Well, we're excited about the future.
Good deal.
So, do you need the Surlana?
Well, I'm sorry, I'm trying to keep up with chat, but she knows I love her.
I do.
Oh.
Hi, chat people. Long time no see. Sorry.
So, before you leave, Leanne, is there anything you can tell us about your projects you've been doing with the horses and
anything you want to plug?
Yeah, anything you want to plug? I mean, that's
because I know you got some things.
Because
call
we
your
love
senators
horses.
And call your senators and vote for the SAFE Act. It keeps horses from being shipped to slaughter overseas to Mexico to end up on somebody's dinner plate. Please do that. Just be aware, that that's happening, and horses, that thousands, literally thousands of horses are shipped every week to slaughter. It's a horrific death. It happens in Mexico or Canada, and then they're butchered, not humanely, and shipped off to meat on someone's dinner plate in some weird country that likes to eat horse meat.
And this is
Sorry,
all kinds
if
of
you're
horses.
One of those countries and you're listening.
Yeah.
It's all kinds of horses. Yes. And right now there's a huge market for donkey hide for whatever reason in some of the Asian countries. And so donkeys, yes, little donkeys, anything 6 months, any horse, any donkey, any equine, 6 months or older can be shipped to slaughter, and is every week without fail. And it's a terrible thing, and I do as much as I can to save the ones I can. But
I want to have you on some night to do like a 20-minute PSA so we could get a little bit further into this and get more ears on the situation sometimes when you get a Saturday night free.
Sure.
And it wouldn't have to be
I'll
the
do it.
whole 3 hours or anything. It just could be, at the beginning of the show, it'd be like an extended PSA because this is important.
Sure.
I think my sister's thing is kind of dogs, yours is horses, and mine is cats. So between us, we got to, work them all.
Right.
So.
Right.
Well, Leanne,
Agreed.
we appreciate you being a part of our universe. And supporting,
I enjoy it.
And supporting and prodding Surlana all the steps in the way to get to being married.
Yeah, Leanne is the reason I am with Spaceboy. And we'll talk about that in our October show, our late October show, because what show do we have in October is October 28th. We'll talk about it October 28th because the 30th is our wedding anniversary. So we'll talk about
anniversary.
She can call in that night, and we can hurl blames at her and curses.
Talk about how it all came to be.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm looking forward to an awesome year for y'all. So, kudos so far. You made it 2 years. Keep going. It's only going to get better. And that's what I say.
Cool. And so say it, Leanne.
Don't suffocate yourself under that pillow when you're under.
I'll try not to.
Okay.
Good night, Leanne.
Thank you, dear.
All right. All right. Good night. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Yes, as my sister points out, she did help me move both of them.
So I know we're a little bit overdue for our break, so let's go ahead and take a quick musical interlude, and we'll be right back. That song is called Solaris. It was a song I wrote for Solaris Blue Raven. Originally, I had an idea for some music for her book that she has out. And but that one I originally wrote, but then I guess it was A Million Miles to Midnight. We gave her that one, but 2 songs for her that we wrote for her, and I do like that one. So it's a nice, sweet song, and shows we occasionally bring her up on the show just because we think that she's a fantastic individual, and we're excited and pumped to be on a network that we're associated with her, and just cool stuff. So
yes, that's the announcement. One of our faithful regulars missed the announcement because he just popped in chat, and that was the big announcement, is that this show is going to get rebroadcast during the week on Tuesdays on the Paranormal UK Radio Network. So you can check us out there if you miss us on Saturdays. So that's going to be an awesome thing.
Yeah. So cool stuff. So let's get back on track. We're going to bring up some of the shows that have come across our desk this past year. And I believe you've kind of...
Yeah, I compiled a list of the guests. Let me go back. Well, let's go chronological from the more of the beginning of the year. We talked to some people we've never talked to in person. We talked to some independent filmmakers, some producers, directors, actors. We talked to local producer Joe Grisafi. Found out he's a pretty cool dude.
He is.
And then we got to talk to local actress producer Amanda Diane, and then you got involved in her project.
Yeah, she's coming out with a movie called The Cabin, and
independent horror film,
and she needed some music, and okay, I'm sorry. I just thought I
Go
heard
ahead.
some noises going on, but
Where?
Yeah. So I wrote some music for her end credits on her movie. So I'm just waiting for it to come out.
Perfect. It's
in fact, I'll play that song a little bit later. It's
when you think about let's say you're watching the end of an independent horror film, and maybe something just terrible went down. Boom, the movie ends, and you need some kind of disturbing, creepy music to finish it with. I mean, you could not have hit the nail more on the head. So a lot of awesomeness came out of that. And then I got to interview a comedian that I remember from the 90s, Rich Scheidner. Maybe he'll come back one day. I forgot to ask him a question, but I'm hoping maybe I can find another comedian and ask this burning question I have about comedians. We got to meet another Texan, UFO Jane. And we follow her on Twitter, and she's still out there, saying what the latest sightings are in Texas. And we've had some strange sightings here in Houston and in Katy, Texas.
Just down the road.
And we don't see this because we're stuck in this house like a pair of 85-year-old couples who have to get to bed before 8 o'clock every night.
I wonder if Gigi Rabbit, friend of the show, who's also out there listening, saw any of this craziness that's out there. Because he lives out towards Katy.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Some of our chat people are saying we're cutting in and out.
Uh-oh.
But I don't know if that's us or her.
I mean, I hear you clicking over. Okay.
No. Now we're getting paranoid.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking at the board right now. Everything's looking good and green. So, yeah, it could be a Spreaker thing.
Yeah. And then moving up to Northern, we went and we met Preston Dennett over the course of the show. We got to interview him twice. We did once just kind of getting to know him about his thing, and then we brought him back from Moon Conspiracies.
Oh, yeah. That was pretty exciting.
Which I think he had a good time both times.
He was excited to come back and chit-chat with us, and he is a really nice guy, and so I enjoyed our conversation with him.
Yeah, indeed, and maybe we'll have him back too. We try to space these out so we don't
like
overtax the guests with our, nonsense. But and then of course we had on a recurring guest who we'll have on probably for forever. Of course, our beloved Patrick Sporer.
Oh yes, and can't have him not come back time and time again. He's just
He's
an
a big supporter.
Yes, very big supporter.
Very, very. We've learned a lot from him. We've had many hours of conversation with him on and offline.
We've learned that he was into bodybuilding. He has a righteous haircut.
Or he did at one time.
At one time. He is just one hip dude, and we're really glad that he is a part of our universe, because in this cutthroat business that we're in, it's really hard to find people that are got your back, so to speak. There are a lot of selfish individuals that are out there that only think about themselves, even though you might help them out, and they leave you to the curb.
Just don't have the first clue what you're talking about. Anyway, so, and of course we got to interview Solaris Blue Raven, which has brought us nothing but happiness and joy and good things.
Who is she?
I don't know. She's this really cool chick.
Okay, well, first off, when I talk about Solaris, and one thing that really hits me, she speaks at 1,000,000 miles an hour. But the thing is that when she speaks, it's like when I listen to her, I don't know about anybody else, but when I listen to her, it's like a focused laser. I pick up everything she's saying. I understand what she's saying, and it's the only way I can. It's like high-speed internet when I listen to her, and that I've never come across any other individual in my lifetime that can talk that way and me pick up their information and just be clear as day,
Sorry, I had an idea and I had to write it down. Okay. Anyway. Yeah. So Solaris and Patrick have been two very, very super supportive people who seem to really be interested in our success.
Mm-hmm. They've been in our corner, and that's great to have people like that in our corner. I mean, it's great. The Space Cadets. Don't get me wrong. All the Space Cadets have been great in being in our corner, but these particular individuals, Solaris and Patrick, have given us a wealth of information behind the scenes and been supportive in front of the scenes, and we always toot their praises because it's just they're just great people.
Yeah, so we're very grateful for them, and we're going to have Solaris on again. I just got to figure out what she'd like to talk about. Mm-hmm. Or I have to go get educated on something she wants to talk about, because I'm pretty sure whatever she knows, I don't know it. Mm-hmm. She knows so much, and she's experienced a lot, and it's fascinating to...
I wonder what she knows about scalar wave. Is it scalar or scalar wave technology?
Yeah, it is. That's the Tesla stuff.
Yeah, I wonder how much information she... I mean, that would be something I'd like to talk to her about.
Yeah, well, let's start writing this stuff down because we'll forget. Like I said, we got to talk to the alien hunter himself, Daryl Sims.
Oh, that was really fun.
Yeah, sorry. I'm looking at a list here. Yeah. And then we got to go down to Webster, of all places, where Spaceboy and I lived and met. And we went to a meeting and actually got to talk to Daryl in person at his UFO HUFON meetup. And he does that like once every Sunday. He's got one tomorrow. I don't think we'll be able to make it, but I've put out a call to him, so he's invited back on whenever he can get back on.
But yeah, he, a fellow Texan, and he is one of those people that it doesn't disappoint. I mean, when you see him, you think he is the lawman of the West. He's got his cowboy hat and he's got his coat. I mean, and
he's like a stereotypical cowboy look.
Right, and I mean, he is just really cool and
seemed to like us.
That's what I was gonna say. He seemed to like us and thought we were doing a good job, and so we must be doing something right there. But I'd love to get him back on and chew the fat with him and talk about more stuff with him.
Wait, I'm hoping he will. Maybe it's just because it's the weekend. He's busy.
Yeah, no.
But then you and I got to geek out, and the poor man, I don't think he had the first clue who we were, what we were about, or why we want to interview him. But we got to talk to the 8-bit guy from YouTube.
Yes. David Murray is his name. and he is really a cool cat. I mean, he's an IT guy, which on a different level I can associate with him and understand where he's coming from. So he's got this great channel. He's actually got 2 great channels. One, he talks about technology and different things, and on his other channel, it's about music, and where he pulls out these keyboards of yesteryear and kind of ranks them on a scale from toys to professional keyboards. And he cleans them up. He does all sorts of things, especially on his other channel when he cleans up computers and sees what's wrong with them and fixes them and tries to bring them back to life. And he's just a really interesting guy. And also, he, like I said, he has his other channel where he does music, and got him on the show. And after the show, I said, "Hey, we really appreciate you coming on board." Sent him some of my free music, and just to let him know that, hey, this is what I'm doing. And he responded back. He said, "Is this okay for me to play?" I said, if you want to play it on your channel, that's great. If not, I'm not heartbroken. Just wanted to thank you for coming on our show. So a few shows later on YouTube, he ends up playing one of my pieces of music, and I was like, wow, that's great. And he mentioned Spaceboy music, and that was all cool. And so I'm fanning Boy out on it because it's one of the TV shows that we would watch if we had TV normally, but it's YouTube channel where we tune in every week to watch the 8-bit guy do his thing. And so now we got contacted because he used my music again, and I said, "Hey, I just wanted to say thank you for playing my music on your show and all that." And he says,
we'll post it on our Facebook is when we hear your music, like, oh, the 8-bit guy used one of your songs again. So
so he basically said, I wanted to reach out to you because I'm thinking about putting a CD or an album together of the music that I've been playing on my channel. And I'm like, wow, that would be great.
I thought he meant vinyl.
Yeah, vinyl. Album, vinyl.
An LP, vinyl album.
Yeah. So I said, you know what? And he was going to ask me how much I charge. And I said, you know what? Consider it a freebie from the universe. I said, we love your show, and just go ahead and use it and put it on an album, and that would be awesome. So it looks like at some point, I really would be cool to have my music on a vinyl, and I know I'd buy that, and so hopefully when that comes out, I'll let all the Space Cadets know that that's out there. But that is cool. So I'm kind of fanboying out right now, and I apologize. But
well, no, you got a reason to. You're involved with him.
So yeah, it's like
I'm sorry. We have a caller because that was hidden behind us.
I hope we can talk and then break and then come back.
Are you there, caller? Sorry.
Yes, I am.
Hey, it's Ty, our other favorite Canadian from up north.
Are you feeling better, Ty?
Yes, I'm feeling a lot better. Thank you very much. Just wanted to phone in. I would be remiss not to phone in and say happy anniversary.
Well, thank you, Ty.
On your, yeah. And Western Canada loves you, so.
Oh, we love Western Canada, too.
Can you find it on the map, dear?
Look, I'm sure I can find it someday. The important thing is, Ty, is that I always look forward to all your tweets, and usually you're like the one person who likes everything I post out there. So thanks for following me on, and as far as I say tweets, my Facebook account.
Social media stuff.
Social media stuff, it gets all jumbled up. And so I'm always guaranteed. I know Ty's going to like this, so I post it and guaranteed. There you go. So thank you for following me.
Oh, you're very much welcome. I do love the stuff that you post. Some of that brings a lot of memories back.
Mm-hmm.
Like Space 1999.
Oh yeah.
Battlestar Galactica, all that stuff. Those were my favorites. So.
Oops, sorry, I dropped a pin.
Definitely love them.
Well, I wouldn't post it if I didn't like it, and so it's kind of an extension of what I do here on the show. And it's fun to share all that stuff. And yeah, 1999, and then recently I did the original Battlestar Galactica, and so yeah, a lot of that stuff is really cool.
I vaguely recall when that was on the air when I was little. Battlestar, the little robot, little gold robot, and
what was it? I can't remember. It was
the original pimp bot.
The robot bear /
what the heck was that thing?
Boxy was the kid's name, wasn't it? And then what was the name of the?
I don't recall. I mean, I just remember seeing it on TV.
Well, you know what was inside it was a monkey. They had a monkey in that suit.
Are you on crack?
No, it was an actual. They used a monkey to play the android robot thing that Boxy played with, and then of course later on Boxy grows up and he's in Battlestar Galactica 1980. So
wasn't it Muffet?
Muffet, that's it. That's exactly it. Tie for the win.
Muffet, and you have a cat named Muffin.
McMuffin.
It's Muffin.
So, but is there a particular show that strikes your fancy when you think of the universe, Ty, that you've heard over the past couple of years?
Or at least this year,
at least this year?
Oh, I love them all. I think what I like most is how you two banter and that you're genuine, like you're no holds barred.
I don't know how to be anyone else.
Exactly.
I don't know how to act.
Well, it's like I said earlier.
He does. He's actually acted.
We just say what comes to mind, and and some of it's comedy gold, and we just roll with it. I mean, if we were fake, you would know, and then you would turn to some other show, and so from day one, I've always tried to just be genuine, and also another rule I have is that if you don't hear it from me directly, then it's false. I take that attitude, like, don't listen to some chump that, did you hear what Spaceboy said this, blah blah blah.
I don't think anybody's saying anything.
Well, I'm just saying that's another thing that I pride myself on, is that if you don't hear it from me, then it's fake.
Yeah, I always check the source.
Check the source. See, Ty knows how to do it.
Yeah. I did have one question for you, Spaceboy.
Uh-oh. I'm on the hot seat.
Are you still working? Yeah, are you still working on that Christmas album?
I have not forgot about you, Ty. And it's not Christmas yet. I mean, July came, but you can't have me have you Christmas music in July.
No, of course not.
I figure like mid-November, you know how supposedly Christmas doesn't start until like after Thanksgiving. I should have something by then.
Right on. Right on. I'm looking forward to it.
Is that
by
for
the way,
real?
We're going to be getting right on. And by the way, we're going to be getting wet flurries tomorrow. So
wow.
Is there a pill you can take for that?
Yes, I can sleep right through it.
I don't have any clue what that white stuff is. Not down here. We can send you a hurricane if you'd like. You want one of those?
We'll have We'll have half a day of winter sometime in late December, early July, or January.
Yeah, our winters are like over a weekend or something, and it's done.
Oh, I love it.
Well, Ty,
our winters are
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
I was going to say our winters are too long here. Sometimes 8 months.
Ooh.
Mm.
I don't know. Surlana might like that.
It snowed in 2004 or 5, really briefly. It got that far down to Webster. And, yeah, that's the last time I saw it.
Wow. That must be the climate change or something.
That's it.
Okay, so I'll let you go. I know you guys have to do a break, so I'll let you go, and you guys have a great show as usual, and we'll talk again.
Yes, and you give a big hug to the other guy.
Yes.
He's busy promoting your show right now.
Yep.
Oh, we appreciate him. Tell him that.
Yeah, tell him that we love you both.
He knows that. Okay, we love you too. So take care.
Thank you, Ty.
Bye, Ty.
Okay, bye-bye.
All right, so I know we have somebody queued up.
We have two queued up.
I want to go ahead and play this song. This is called Dash Levo. This is the song that I did for the upcoming movie called The Cabin. Amanda Diane's, I guess, picture that she's doing all that good stuff for. And so when we come back, we'll answer those calls, and so don't go anywhere. Hey, y'all, you are listening to the Paranormal UK Radio Network and the SBU Network, where you get to hear all this fine programming. So keep it tuned right on these dials. Surlana, we have somebody in the phone?
Yes, this might be the Godfather himself. Are you there, caller?
Oh, good evening.
Hello.
And congratulations.
Hello,
on
Dino.
2 years.
Well, thank you. Appreciate
it. And, it's quite an event. I appreciate all the cadets calling in tonight. Some of them I haven't heard in a while. Instead of that Dino guy always calling in. Huh?
Well, Dino calling in for 3 hours, but that's another story altogether.
Oh, well, at least you don't hang up on me. Like
No, we wouldn't do that to anybody.
We try not to be too rude. When you call in, we like a good conversation.
Well, I'll try to give you that. It's wonderful that you're here, and it's wonderful that our former oppressors in England can now listen to the program and see how we've taken our freedom and gone all kinds of wonderful directions, and your show is one example of that. I'm back on the reservation again. During the summer I go wild, but working a lot, and I'm just trying to keep up with all the issues. Every so often a UFO video comes online and looks real. I think you were aware a couple of months ago I was able to come upon some what I believe are real Sasquatch pictures taken in 2014 in Northern California, and there are a lot of things going on. And now I have something to plug tonight, if that is okay.
Dana, you're a friend of the show, and you go right ahead.
Is it PG?
Yeah.
Well, yes. Oh, no. This is, as a matter of fact, this is not a selfish plug. This is for all of us in America and perhaps on the earth. You may or may not be aware, on another program, I was kind of concerned because I had heard, we all know David Adair. For the listeners who don't know, he tells of wonderful stories, very gentleman of a guy who apparently at age 15 or 16 won an award for being just a genius in hobby rockets, and indeed had launched a rocket up something like 9,000 feet in the air and won a competition. So he was not just a kid that was playing around. He knew rocket engines, and I won't tell his whole story, but basically he, in going to these competitions, I think he was an Eagle Scout or something, and a man approached him who ended up, short story, being a general, I forget the general's name, who ended up, when he became draft age for Vietnam, apparently he was given the option of, we'll draft you, or you can go to Vietnam, or you can join the Navy and we'll put you here working on rocket engines and, on engines. So he took the right choice, and at one point was taken to Area 51. At any rate, now he's retired, has lost his wife, his true love, about a year and a half ago. So he's become a crusader to tell a lot of stuff. He said he was never actually sworn in, for any kind of secrecy. But what he saw, he tells. He has been asked and threatened to not do it, and he says, "I don't care." He says, "My wife's dead. If you do something to me, I just get to be with my wonderful wife again." So that's his story, and right now he has taken up a very good cause. On another program about a month ago, he said that he might go onto a fast. And people said, "What are you going to fast?" He goes, "I'm going to Washington, D.C., get a permit, stay in a tent in front of the White House there." And it's because he knows, as many others do, that our electrical grid in America and Europe is not protected. It's not hardened. And in these times where we have like a Korean, Kim Jong-ugly threatening with missiles and with potential terrorists coming in, and from what we have learned, an electromagnetic pulse could take out, if strategically placed, our whole electrical grid, and it could maybe not come up for months or even years, which would lead to a lot of death and hardship. And in fact, David Adair is pushing this, that even solar flares, he said we missed one just a couple of months ago that had it been pointed right at the Earth would have done the same thing. And he said that these power companies know about this, and the military knows about this, but no one's doing anything. So what he is doing, he is, instead of going on a fast, he was talked about it, and he was asked to be a spokesperson nationwide in America for the SHIELD Act. And everybody has to help. I've already done this. You can go It's called HR, which is House of Representatives. You call your congressman, you send a letter to your congressman. He said letters work better, but if you can't do that, send an email to your congressman. You tell him you want HR 2417, the SHIELD Act, just like holding up a shield. HR 2417, the SHIELD Act, that you want action on it immediately. This would not only harden our grid in America, but it would also create jobs, and he said it could be done, and he mentions a figure. You can go to his website, that this would be something that could be done in about a year and a half, would create jobs, would harden our system so that it wouldn't go down in the event of a natural electromagnetic pulse, or, in some kind of an attack with an electromagnetic bomb. And that's the thing. See, we always are fearing, Kim Jong-ugly is going to send a rocket with a nuclear payload. He doesn't need to do that. He sent one of those missiles if they could reach. Yeah, and they could go and he could detonate an electronic device that would fry any kind of a car that had any kind of electronic chip. You wouldn't be able to drive unless it was a pre-1960 or something.
Yeah, we spoke to David Adair about this, and he told us about his campaign to go get on a hunger strike so he could get the president's attention. And he says, if we're not taken out by an EMP, then a corona mass ejection could get us, and our grid is not protected. And there's some kind of bill we can pass that will put things in motion so we can be protected from EMPs and see coronal mass ejections. But a senator or representative
from
Alaska killed the bill. And she says he called her a traitor. So,
well, he doesn't pull any punches.
No, he doesn't.
Seen it all, and he wants to tell the truth. He's not a mean person. I've met him in person last spring, and I talked with him, and he's just a fun guy to hang out with. He's got a little bit of a southern accent, and he's very laid back, except he tells stories that go on longer than mine. But if you follow him, there's a lot of information. And he put her to sleep. Another famous radio host, he put her to sleep apparently at 5 a.m. when he continued off air with some of his stories, and she tapped out, and she was so sorry, but because she loves his stories.
Yeah,
at any rate,
they're good stories. They're fascinating stories, and they've never changed. That's one thing about David Adair, is that his stories have been consistent. We always look for the consistent story, because anyone who deviates over time, you kind of question whether or not the legitimacy of their story. And David Adair is not one of those people that has deviated from his story. It's always been consistent, same story, and it's always great to hear it over and over, because just the way he tells it, true, he has that southern accent, and it just adds to the charm of the story.
Yes, and Surlana has just posted, I see on the chat, I was going to mention that his web page, it's a simple web page, easy to get to. It's America's, plural, America's Fall, like falling down, from space, all together, americasfallfromspace.com, and it's got the page, the home page, and it explains some of the things he's done. But if you hit his campaign, I think it's at the top there. I think it says
raise the shield, and he's got all the instructions on how to reach your congressman and your senator. Of course, that's just here in America, but he's got ways to access how to do it.
Yeah, and I did print out. They're very short, half-page letters, and you can sign them, and then you have to look up on your own your senator's address, because that works. But I also sent an email, and I actually telephoned. I have a pretty good relationship with my congressperson, because I send him emails all the time on issues, and I think he kind of knows who I am. I saw him at the Memorial Day parade, and he was going by in an uncovered car, and I yelled out, "Stop the TPP, the Trans-Pacific Partnership." And he went, "What?" And I went, "Yeah, I was on a bike on the sideline." I go, "Stop the TPP." And he goes, "I agree." He yelled back, so he's a good guy. And so anyway, I'm calling him and sending email and a letter. And it's, americasfallfromspace.com, and it's all there for you. It's not hard to do. It takes you a couple of minutes. And, as much as I love Sasquatch and I'm really curious about why we've been lied to, and I like listening to Richard Dolan and Travis Walton and Whitley Strieber, whatever you feel about any of them, here's something that is a lie, that we're not being told a lie, but it's being kept from most Americans, while we fuss and fight about people kneeling down on a football field. And it's fine, have those feelings about that, but this is something you can take action on, and I want my tax money to go toward protecting our shield. It's something I'd be happy to pay for, and it's not that much tax. He mentioned how many million it was. That's nothing compared to our military budget here. More than half of our tax dollars in America go to our military. So anyway, I won't go off on another subject about the Roman Empire and spreading your military too thin, but let's defend ourselves at home. I'm sick and tired of over being probed at the airport, for terrorists. Well, let's do something so that if anybody gets through, they can't do too much damage. And the electrical grid, oh man, everything is on computer nowadays. If that goes down and the batteries run out, your food supply, your gas supply, it's not just, my lights will be out. Everything breaks down, even the police, maybe
everything's connected. That's the world we live in. And, it is sad that with this growth in technology that, the infrastructure hasn't kept up. And it is a valid point. And, of course, David makes a very compelling story with, where we should be with our grid.
Yeah, and I was concerned about him. I think I thought I tried to contact you. I wasn't sure where I had heard that, and I said, where's David? And I didn't know any way to get in touch. And then finally I found the website, and I sent him a contact. You can contact him personally, and he was nice enough. Yesterday I got an email back from him. I said, are you okay? Because I thought I know he has diabetes. He's mentioned that, and I was afraid he was going to put himself in health danger just to talk to the president about this. But then this group, I forget the name of it, came along and said, we're for protecting the grid, the shield, and he goes, will you be our spokesperson? So he's national spokesperson, and I think he's accomplished what he would have done even better from fasting, because now he's getting on radio shows, and he said, if you know anybody who has a radio show, put me on. Maybe you should have him back on. He'll come talk to you.
We can do that now.
Well, Dino, before we let you go, is there a particular show you've heard on the SBU that stands out with you, that you liked, or something that just got you tickled and left you laughing for the rest of the evening?
Well, I don't know about laughing, but I have a bias that I never was a big talk radio listener, but the last few years, it's the UFO, it's the free energy, it's the hidden agendas that have drawn me in the most, and they're very serious subjects. But when you study them as much and do the research as I have and you have, sometimes, it's like whenever anybody gets immersed, just like, Miss Michelle, when she's nursing, you're dealing with serious things, but you can laugh, it's kind of inside jokes. And there have been several times on your program where we're talking about something serious, but we all kind of know, and someone will make a comment and it'll just crack me up. Even though you talk about a lot of interesting things, that's my bias. Those are the topics I like. But I've even made jokes. Sometimes you just have to have a sense of humor to deal with all the stresses in the modern world and the lies. And by laughing at something on your show or elsewhere, it points out the ridiculous and the silliness of the lie, and I think helps spread the truth. So you've done that several times. I can't name one particular show, but I do know that when you brought Stan Roenick on, no one had gotten that guy, and he saw what a good vibe we had on the show and in the chat room, and his wife came on first, and then he came on, and he sounded in good moods at the time, and I'm looking forward to your follow-up, and Eric, I understand, had been at the trial to see what we can do to overturn it if it's just a frame job.
Well, only time will tell in that. Well, Dino, thanks for being a part of our universe, as always.
Yes, I'll give up the air. Thank you for helping, and let's get David Adair back on, and the wonderful music you make. I always listen to your CD. Thank you, and let's keep making that music. You're a talented individual, And, Surlana will let her come along for the ride.
Oh, gee, thanks.
Good night,
okay,
Dino.
Good night. I love
Bye,
you
Dino.
both.
I love you too. All right.
All right, we got another caller here.
Okay, caller, you're on the air.
Let's see if we know this person or not.
Well, hello.
Well, hello.
Well, the first thing that I should say is the listeners may figure out that you and I sound alike.
Yeah, I wonder if there's a reason for that.
And I'm not used to calling you Surlana.
No, that's fine.
I'm not used to calling him Spaceboy, and you're not used to calling me Jeannie, but we'll figure it all out.
Well, at least that's a legitimate name that you have.
Okay.
Is your middle
But
name.
I'm what in the chat room I'm known as Sis. So
I just call her Sis, because she is my sis.
So I wanted to call and congratulate you on your 2nd year anniversary. And I've enjoyed listening for, I guess, maybe the past, 6 to 9 months, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And I have to say that my favorite shows have probably been the history, because I minored in history. But all the UFO stuff is way over my head. Just way over my head. But I listen and I learn and, try to glean some understanding.
Mm-hmm.
So, it's been cool. It's been interesting.
I've
I'm
learned
not
a lot.
a gamer, but...
Surprisingly, we talk about the occasional game, but we don't.
Not since we did the history of Atari.
Atari,
That was a good
we
show.
did the history of Nintendo.
That was the E.T. remark was during the history of Atari.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I'm sure as Surlana told you, the only game system we ever had was that Magnavox
Odyssey.
Odyssey, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's the only one we ever had, and that's the only one I've ever played. I've never touched Atari. I've never touched a Nintendo.
My cousins had an Odyssey.
I've never played any of those.
Casey Munchkin was
we had
the
that.
game
we had
for
that.
that system.
It was the knockoff Pac-Man.
Yeah.
But we had that.
Now I've played stuff on my PC.
See, we're PC gamers now. If we're gamers at all, because
And
we do
mostly,
Steam.
I just play puzzle games, and mostly those are on my Kindle now because they're free.
Mm-hmm.
But like I told you, as I name dropped, I had to tell John Romero that I had never played Doom, and he gave me absolution.
Blasphemy!
He said you're absolved. I understand. It's not your thing.
Hey, look, I played enough Doom for the both of us, so we, at least it's in the.
Well,
family.
that's what I told him. I told him that my sister made up for both of us. I did play some Duke Nukem.
Me too.
Years ago.
Who is John Romero, for those who don't know?
Oh, well, he's one of the people who started id Software, and they wrote Doom and Quake and all that. But I used to work at Soft Disc Publishing in Shreveport, Louisiana.
Where we're from.
And we all worked together, and when I got my divorce, I moved to Dallas, and just a few months after I left, all of those guys that worked there, the programmers, they picked up and left and moved to Dallas and formed id Software.
That's so weird
So-
that they came from our pokey hometown.
We all came from the same place. They're all real nice guys who they're programmers, so they're different.
Mm-hmm. And just for a history lesson, if it wasn't for my sister and our previous caller, Leanne, I wouldn't be sitting here in Houston with Spaceboy, my husband, because they physically moved me down along with my best friend Holly and our dad. The four of you got me down here.
It was tough, but we got you there.
Yeah, it was highly emotional, and but it was probably the best decision I ever made.
You were in shock.
Yeah.
So basically, but we made it. We got you there. So, and it was the best thing I think it's the best thing you could have done. I mean, where were you going to get a job in Shreveport? That's why I left.
No, I stayed 20 years too long. But I felt that was needed, so.
Yeah.
But the timing was right.
Yeah.
And we'll
you
explore.
were the love child, and you were there for a reason.
Yeah. we'll explore the story of how Spaceboy and Surlana met in October. We'll rehash that briefly. If anybody's interested, we'll get Leanne to call in and make fun of us. And
Pookie Bear?
And everybody knows I've known Leanne since 4th grade. That's where I met her.
That's how I know her.
And so she was always around the house when I was in high school. She and I swapped weekends staying at each other's house, and Friday night meant pizza rolls and the Avengers. No, the new Avengers, excuse me. But, yeah, I just wanted to let you know that I've really enjoyed your show, and I want to support it.
That means a lot. I didn't know what you'd think of me doing this sort of thing, because it's not my sort of thing.
I stayed away for a while. I stayed away because I thought, let her do her thing. She probably, doesn't want somebody hovering over her and stuff like that.
Oh, I never thought that.
And
No.
I thought, well, I'll go check it out. And then it seems like you didn't mind. So.
It's not like you
I've
couldn't
been
go.
Listening.
You could go listen, and we'd never know.
But I just wanted to let you know that I support it, and I think you're doing a great job.
Do you think we should keep going?
Personally, I do. As long as it doesn't cause problems in the marriage.
It's already done that, so we've worked through it.
But, okay, well, there's always couples counseling.
That's what we're doing right now on the air.
That's what I'm saying. I think you're working it out right now.
If not,
And
I've got 2 aluminum baseball bats in the car if it comes to that. So,
if you start wearing tinfoil hats, I kind of want the heads up to let me know if you're going that far out. But like I said, I'll listen to some of this fringe science and try to glean what I can. I was telling Sharon earlier that I'm more into studying stuff like the inverse, string theory, and dark matter.
We could look into those as topics. Mm-hmm. That'll be pretty heavy, but we can do it.
I like to read Brian Greene and Stephen Hawking and that kind of thing. So that's my 2 cents.
Well, those are good ideas for show topics. We can get into that.
Yeah. Well, I'm sorry if I said your name, but I can't handle this. I need to change your diapers, okay?
Can I say your real first name? No, I won't do that.
I don't even know if you know this. The reason that your name's the way you are, what you are, is because it rhymes with my name.
Yes, and it flows. It kind of flows with our brother's name when you say it in chronological order.
But Mother liked the way it rhymed with my name. So, yeah.
You still get called by all 3 names.
Brother and I, yeah. It's just that online, I've chosen to use Jeannie. Mm-hmm. And, anytime you do anything where you got to fill out paperwork, nobody cares what your middle name is.
No.
But that's what I've always gone by. In fact, you're the only one in the family that doesn't go by their middle name.
Oh, I like my first name. I think my middle name is boring.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, it's fine. It's just unusual. I think that the only reason you go by your first name is because it matches my name. So. Mm-hmm.
Well, it sounds
a lot of problems.
Mine sounds really Southern. Well, we thank you. We thank you for calling in, and hopefully I'll get to see you soon.
I wish I had something better to say, or more enlightening. But congratulations, and keep it up, kids.
All righty.
We appreciate it.
Yes.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. So we're at the top of the hour, Surlana, so let's go ahead and take our break, and when we come back, more SBU on the go for you. right. We're having a lot of fun behind the scenes. So, real quick to explain, we're big fans of Rick and Morty, and it's a show here in the States called Rick and Morty on Adult Swim. And as always, when we do different, we're definitely YouTube watchers of just different content. And once again, they're talking about. You
really want to tell this story? Does it reflect well on you?
I know it's terrible, but the poor man, we
were watching one of these mini. Here's the Easter eggs you missed. Here's all the inside jokes you missed. Here's all the references. Those kind of things. You've got your favorite show, and you've got all these things on YouTube, like, here's like the inside stuff you missed on Game of Thrones or whatever it is you watch. Mm-hmm. There's tons of videos like that. So we watch those because they get so deep and philosophical. And this particular one was looking at philosophical principles behind some of these episodes of Rick and Morty. Mm-hmm. So go ahead and.
So anyway, who's the man that popped up that they were referring to?
Jean-Paul Sartre.
Okay, so the poor
famous
man,
French philosopher,
and at the chance I'm going to probably offend somebody out there, I apologize. It's just I looked at him and
they showed a photo of him,
and I said, he looks like a pug. I mean, because his eyeballs were pointing in different directions. And Surlana might try to play innocent on this.
I'm over here cringing.
But she was laughing
because I knew what was coming from you.
Anyway, I love the French too.
It reminds me of one of my many favorite Mystery Science Theater 3000 episodes where they watched Hobgoblins, mm-hmm. and there's this unnecessarily long scene in that movie of the band on the stage.
Is this the French Out of Shape? And
yeah, no. This is Hobgoblins. It was the 80s movies.
Right. Oh yeah,
it has like a cult following, but there's this unnecessary long shot of the band performing. I don't know what that had to do with anything in the film. I guess it was just filler, and it was this silly, edgy group, and one of the guys goes, Jean-Paul Sartre and the Heartbreakers. And we have another call.
Oh, wow. See how that works out?
Yes. They just called to stop our nonsense, I'm sure.
I wonder if I know this person, too.
Hold on. I'm trying to get it to engage.
Engage number 1.
Are you there, caller?
Happy anniversary. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can. Is this Catalina?
Yes, it is.
Yes.
Hi, Surlana and Spaceboy.
Oh, it's awesome to hear from you.
Yeah, first time calling in. And I've been listening, I think, almost since the beginning.
Which is awesome.
Yeah. I watched it grow and change and turn into just a perfect, balanced show. It's funny because in the beginning, I listened to a lot of different shows and they kind of meet different needs that I have, but yours was so unusual and different because in the beginning it wasn't something that I was into, the gaming and the computer stuff, and then I think in the beginning you guys used to talk about the Comic Cons, the conferences you went to. Was that am I correct?
Yeah, we still do those.
Yeah, that was so cool because I didn't know anybody that ever went to those things. So those shows were fun because I was like, wow, this is really different. Mm-hmm. So I remember those in the beginning. That was really cool. And I also liked, in the beginning, do you guys remember how you kind of friendly kind of argued with each other? And I thought it was kind of cute. It's like husband and wife.
It's not that friendly. We really mean it.
To the outside observer, it is funny, and we have our angst against each other, but I think in the end of the day, it's just,
Well, if it's just us two and then we don't have a guest on, I mean, we'll probably, get into it, and then that will bleed over after the show, and I'll be like, I can't believe you, blah, 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 blah.
Oh, but you guys just, you're blending so much. I don't say better. It's just that you kind of found your groove. Because in the beginning, I'm like, well, this is kind of unusual. And I was like, well, but they're husband and wife, and that's okay. But now you guys got totally in the groove, and it's good, And let's see, what else did I want to say? I really love.
Maybe.
Go ahead.
I guess we got comfortable.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But go ahead.
Yes. And I just want to tell you that I love your music. It's very sci-fi, and I guess I was only used to that kind of music, like, because I was a total Star Trek-y, you know, but otherwise you don't always get to hear it. Like, they don't play stuff like that on the regular radio, but so I got to really appreciate that kind of music listening to your show. I was like, God, this is actually really, really good music. And so I wish it would play on regular radio, you know, because people don't get to know how cool that kind of music really is. I just wanted to let you know that.
Appreciate that. A lot of that, you know, if I could speak for a moment on that, is that you know, the indie artist doesn't really get that airplay. It's all about the cookie cutter manufactured stuff that's out there, and the artists that you know are. It's all about genuine versus non-genuine. The artists that you hear out there, and I'm not going to name anybody in particular. You just could turn on the radio and hear them. They're not genuine. They're just, you know, they're fake, and they're. I just cannot stand that.
But that's why it's good that you get to know people like Apic Guys using your music. Amanda Diane is using that Dash Laveau, and then of course Jim and Jody Bray of the Outer Rim. How can we forget them? He's getting involved with helping them score some of their soundtrack, and was something else I can't remember you were getting involved with.
And then, of course, I've done music for, well, I mean, the Fade or Not One is a very popular one with the Jimmy Church crowd that opens up. Oh,
that's the best. I love that.
And, you know, I've done music for Bill Burns and Nancy Burns for their show. You know, there's several people out. I just went blank, but Cosmic Surfer is another one that I did for Jill Hansen for the Q. I can't believe I'm just
Q Science or something.
Yeah, the Q Science Project. I've done music for her, and I mean it's nice that, you know, this music is just kind of bleeding out everywhere into the universe, and it's just a great addition to what we do here, you know, every Saturday night. So,
it's awesome. He has this talent. I wish I had something to compliment it, but, you know, at least we have got, you know, your music.
But you do, Surlana, because some of the songs I hear your voice or the things, and that added touch that I love too. You know, I've heard your voice dubbed or whatever it is. You know, and some of it. I can't remember, but I kind of remember you talking or something.
I've not.
She's talking probably the commercials.
Oh, the commercials, yeah.
We've done before with you.
I'm not
maybe that's it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I was going to ask him to bring back some of our fake commercials, but I guess we're just over that. I mean, just for tonight.
Yeah, we might squeeze them here and there. I know K28. This is the Star Hustler one that I've done. Where I sound more like what's that guy from Marvel? I can't believe
we were going for that. The guy used to be on PBS right before PBS went off the air. He talks about what's in the sky tonight.
Greetings, Star Watchers.
Oh, that sounds good. Yeah. Well, your music it elevates your consciousness up to a higher level. You know, because I just got done taking a 1,200-mile road trip in 2 days, so just listening to all kinds of music. And I love all the old stuff, you know, that we all grew up and stuff, but we're at a level that, we're at a place in our time that we need something that elevates our brain up higher because the frequencies are higher, and that's what your music does. For me, you know, when I hear that, I'm like, oh yeah, that's where my brain needs to go.
Although he did make one today that is pure rock and roll, which is sort of a deviation for him. I'm like, would you hurry up and finish that song? Because I want it.
Well, this year is one of those years that I'm really got my hands in the different pots, and, you know, whether it's scoring for a TV show, whether it's, you know, just writing some hard rock music that's not the typical stuff I do. But it still all has that, you know, when you hear it, there is a tapestry, if you will, that ties them all together. And I need to get on board with working out that Christmas music for Ty. That's something I've never done before, too, as well, that I'm looking forward to composing.
That'll be a fun challenge.
Right on.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I look forward to hearing that. So I wanted to say that my favorite show, I mean, I've loved them all, but I guess the one that stands out the most was last New Year's Eve, that show you did.
Mm-hmm.
To go back and listen to that.
And
was it a prediction show, or was it?
Yeah, it's usually a prediction show.
Or
yeah, I can't remember if there's predictions, but it was just, I guess what I loved about it is, and why I like your show in particular is because it reminds me of the times in my life where I used to go with friends just hanging out at people's houses. I mean, that used to be a big thing, and like nobody seems to do that anymore. I don't know what's happened to our world, but that was normal. We would just go to people's houses, and do you remember that? Just hanging out at friends' people's houses?
Yeah.
And that's kind of the feeling that your show gives me. It's like, oh, I'm hanging with my friends, just a closer knit friends. And that's the way the New Year's Eve party, it was just like, just a few of us having this New Year's Eve party, and it just makes you feel so comfy. It's a comfy show. That's what I love about your show.
You absolutely get us in the sense that, that's exactly what we aim, is that we tell people, even when we tell our guests when they're coming on, it's like, hey, this show isn't a 60 minutes thing where we're going to do a gotcha question. It's kind of like you coming over, we're hanging out, we're just having a conversation, we're learning new things. You tell us something we've never heard about, and we'll ask you questions and be inquisitive. And at the end of the show, we may agree with you, we may not, but at least we can go together knowing, hey, we came together and we learned something together.
Absolutely. And thank you so much for all the shows, and shout out to everybody in chat. I love you all. And keep up the good work, and I'll always be here for you.
Well, we appreciate it. We look forward to seeing you in the chat room every time you're there.
We loved hearing from you. Thank you so much.
Most definitely.
Oh, you're welcome. Take care. All right. Good night. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Someone is trying to call us on Skype, and I can't pick up because I've got Skype connected to the call-in app, and if I try to put that on a group call, I'm worried it's going to knock us off the
It probably
toll-free.
will. So call the toll-free number.
I've put it in our status on Skype. I don't know how anybody sees your status on Skype, like when you... I'm trying to find any... I don't recognize this number. If your number is 520, could you call in with 844-734-SBUN?
We promise we'll pick up.
We appreciate it if you do that for us, because I can't... If I pick you up on Skype, it'll knock me off of the...
Does it pop up with any kind of caller ID on Skype?
No. It says we missed him 3 times, though.
Well, that's terrible. I wonder who could be calling our line then.
Yeah.
Oh, it's Donna. Donna, call the
Let me put that in there.
The toll-free number.
I'm sorry, Donna.
Yeah, it'd be great to hear from Donna. If you can decipher SBUN.
We have to use Skype to call the app that runs the toll-free 844 number.
When we're real poor, we just use Skype.
Yeah, and when we run out of money to run that, we just use Skype to have you call in. That's why sometimes you call Skype, sometimes you call the toll-free.
And I'm standing up. Can I see your water?
Oh, do you need a...
Yeah, I need some water.
It's... Okay, but you're in for a little treat there.
What is it you got in there, babe?
It's sugar-free.
Okay, this is like the tea thing altogether.
Just brace yourself.
Mm-hmm.
It's my good sipping juice.
I'm sorry, I had to take some Spaceboy gulps. There you go.
Oh, no, not the Guerrero gulp.
Yes. All right. Sorry, we had to do that live.
I told you need to get a beverage.
I had a beverage.
Wait,
but
I got to see how much you took.
I had a kernel stuck in my back of my throat, and I'm not talking about the
How
KFC.
do you drink that much in 5 seconds? I swear to God. Okay, thank God. Thank you, Donna. Thank you, Donna. You're rescuing us from
Another argument?
another argument.
Hi, happy anniversary.
Thank
you. It's so great to hear from you.
Yeah, I wanted to call because I know it's an important night.
Well, we appreciate it. I mean, this is a big night. You're calling in. I can't recall the last time if you've ever called in, but I know we've seen you in the chat room.
No, I haven't.
Yes.
Yeah, I come in the chat room, but I haven't called. I, have been kind of ill for a while, but now I'm feeling much better.
Well, we're glad you're doing better.
Yeah.
And we're glad you joined us in the chat, while you were still feeling ill.
Well, I don't want to lose touch, because I think it's very important, everything you're doing.
Well,
and I really enjoy your show, so.
We're going to play this show back when we're feeling down.
Yes, exactly. The moment that Donna said, that makes her day there, so makes our day, knowing that
because we've had a lot of those moments lately.
Oh, let me tell you, Donna. Over the course of
Muffin says hi.
Yeah, Muffin says hi, everyone. She broke in.
She broke in.
Yeah, there's been times when we man, are we going to have a show next week, or it's just. But we've just kept one foot forward and just never looking back.
Should we keep doing this? So but we've had some really down times lately, as far as mentally and I don't know, things just seem to go the other way.
You can't help but get down. You can't help but get down with everything that's going on. I mean, the government keeps lying to us. They keep pulling all these weird things on us. It's getting very tiresome. And then you have all this stuff with people not knowing anything about what the rapture is. They don't know what the whole thing is about. When the rapture comes, it lasts for 1,000 days. You do know that, right? And at the end of 1,000 days, there is a 1,000-year Armageddon. It's a war. At the end of 1,000 years, there is a war between God and Satan, so that they know who will rule over the earth for the next 10,000 years. There is no destroying the earth. People are so confused by that. I'm tired of hearing that. We're not all going to die. And the only people that are going to go to heaven during rapture are the chosen people of the tribes of David, Jacob, and Joseph. Those are the people that are going to be taken off the planet. And there's only a chosen few of those. And we won't even notice.
All this stuff that's going on, these hurricanes, these earthquakes, these coming in rapid succession, the fires, those are part of the signs. I believe like you do.
Right.
It may just be me and you, Donna, that think this, but we can hear other opinions on this show, so.
Yeah. But I mean, it's the whole thing is it's not the end of everything. It's just the beginning. I mean, unless you're going to live 1,000 years, I don't think you're going to know when the final times come.
I was thinking about doing a show on CERN and CERN, what they're actually doing in CERN conspiracies, and about them opening a portal that is actually trying to bring in entities, maybe even fallen angels, is what some people are saying.
Right, but it's funny that you should say that, because I have a big thing about the shadow people and the shadow beings. And right now, the veil between us and the next dimension is so thin that I see these creatures, and I call them rabbits. They're small. I don't even know exactly what kind of creatures they are. And just before disasters, just before the earthquake in Mexico, my yard was filled with these little creatures that look like rabbits. And you can only barely see them because they're dark. And they don't have an actual shape. You can't see their eyes. You can't see their mouths. They just run around like little mice or rats. but they're pretty good size.
Sounds
And
like
that has
you're
been happening more and more.
You're in tune with something, with a vibration that maybe the rest of us can't see.
Well, yeah, I know that, but, everybody can do it. Anybody can do it. And another thing is the shadow people, what really concerns me about it is that, and I've talked to Catalina about this, I'll see them, and I've been paying attention to them, and they have some kind of instruments in their hands, and they're doing something with those instruments. And sometimes they fluctuate almost where I can see colors from them.
Mm-hmm.
And then those are the people I worry about, because what are they doing to our dimension? And are they going to come into our dimension and do something to us? So I worry about that all the time.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
That's really interesting, though. I've not heard of anyone else saying that they experienced that.
Well, I have a problem with my left eye. I don't see out of it like everybody else does. And I think that's why I can see more.
Oh, interesting.
When I just use my left eye, everything is shadowy anyway. And I can kind of focus on them because they don't know that I'm really looking at them. And when I do look at them, I can see the things they're doing.
That's interesting. I imagine that. Do you see them at different times of the day? I mean, is there? Do you see things at night?
Is it in conjunction with certain events?
Yeah.
Or?
Well, yeah, it's always before a big event happens, because a few years ago, I saw. I call it a wave. It looked like energy coming through my house, And right after it happened, I saw all these little black rabbity creatures, so those shadow rabbits, running in my house. And we had a 5.2 earthquake here in Arizona.
Mm-hmm.
This was like an hour before it happened. I saw that. So I know it has something to do with them using their instruments to thin out the veil between our reality and theirs.
Now, are they generally kind of a rabbit shape, or are they
just the size of a rabbit?
I mean, just the size of a rabbit, or are they just?
It's the size of a rabbit, and do you know what a chinchilla looks like?
Oh yeah.
So it's kind of that shape more than a rabbit, but I call them rabbits because they hop around like rabbits do.
Right. Really fascinating.
I have to talk to her more about this sometime. Well, I think that's really interesting. I've never heard of that. I'd like to hear more when we get some more time some night, if you're willing.
Sure.
Well, Donna,
that's great.
We appreciate you calling the universe
and being a listener
and a space cadet is what you are, because you've been with us.
I'm glad you're doing better.
Yeah, most definitely, and to to health, it's important.
Well, that's what we've all got to be here for each other, because if we're not, the alternative is just isolation. And I just think it's a great thing you're doing.
Well, appreciate that.
We appreciate that.
We're just trying to have a good time and learn some things.
and provide some knowledge out to the universe.
Yes, thank you. And love and light to everyone that's listening.
Indeed.
And may your night be great.
Thank you.
Thank you, Donna.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. All right, so we're at the bottom of the hour, Surlana. It's our last break of the evening.
When we come back, I've got some things to talk about that I was going to do for banter, But just and people were asking about updates, what's happening in Houston, and I wanted to address some of that.
Sure. When we come back, we'll address that. Here's another Spaceboy song. It's called "There's Always Another Day."
Hey, we're back, and in the chat we've been getting some questions about how Houston's doing, how things are going post Hurricane Harvey. And if you're a new listener and you might be in another country and not aware what's going on, we had, 9 trillion gallons of water fall on Houston from all the way west to Katy, all the way east to Beaumont. And that is a lot of land to put a lot of water on. So how we're doing post Harvey, we finally got, I believe, all the roads are open now, and it only took a month and a few days. So Yeah. We're still, there's still places that are recovering that got pretty much devastating loss. And some of them I'm just now learning about. Kingwood is north of Houston. That's close to where our friend Leanne lives. Not quite, but close. You go up north 59 straight, you'll get there. And it's a really nice neighborhood. It's, the Kingwood Forest. It's, loads of trees. It's really pretty up there. Well, Kingwood High School has been closed since the week of the hurricane. This is like the last week of August. They lost a lot. 90% of their athletic equipment. Their theater arts department lost a bunch of stuff. In fact, they had to close the campus. The campus is still closed. The students are having to do a timeshare thing with another high school campus to finish out the year. So, J.J. Watt of the Houston Texan NFL football team, that's American football there, he not only did he raise a ton of money for Houston in general, but he has specifically donated equipment to Kingwood High School, like, footballs and cleats and other athletic gear. And the campus had been underwater, and it was, it's closed. So students are sharing Summer Creek High School campus. Now, some other people have heard about this issue. The band Kiss. Kiss is going to host Kingwood students, and they're going to bring awareness by having a fundraiser campaign aimed at raising money for new supply for the performing arts side. So, that was good to hear that maybe they're going to get some taken care of. Now, back downtown where I work, downtown Houston, one of the established icons of downtown, the restaurant Spaghetti Warehouse, it was severely damaged. In fact, if you Google Spaghetti Warehouse Harvey, you'll see how far underwater it was. So they may even have to close that location permanently. They're not even sure if it's structurally sound anymore. Wow. But the company that owns it says they intend to have some kind of permanent location in Houston. Maybe not there, maybe not downtown. They don't know. But they're going to come back somewhere. Mm-hmm. So other parts that I've just learned this last week of downtown Houston that got hit bad was now just little to the south and west of this is Jones Hall. Jones Hall is the home of the Houston Symphony, and we've been there many times. We've enjoyed. Mm-hmm. We got to see Bugs Bunny live, where the symphony played live to classic Bugs Bunny cartoons. We've been to video games live, where they play famous video game themes live. And we got to go to Star Trek Into Darkness live, where they played the actual soundtrack live along with the movie. So it's just always a great place, fun to go. They're actually going to play music to the film Psycho for Halloween. So, it'd be a cool thing to do. But they took a hit with damage too. They are still undergoing repairs, and they've had to reschedule many of their September and October shows, till further notice. And just kind of catty-corner from there is the Alley Theater. It took 12 feet of water, I think, or 10 feet of water. 10 feet. It got 10 feet, and Wortham Center got 12 feet of water. And there's an underground tunnel that connects them that took on tons of water. And not only that, but where you park to go to these places is an underground parking garage. That's closed until further notice. They can't even give an estimate on when they can reopen the parking. So it's pretty tough on our theater arts downtown. So we're not really sure how some of these are going to recoup their losses for, ticket sales, especially Alley Theater. And we used to go there a lot before we moved here. When we lived in an apartment, we had more disposable income. We could go do these highbrow things, like the theater and the orchestra, but not anymore. So, unfortunately, there were many tragedies that came out of Harvey. Unfortunately, some people lost their life because they were either swept off of roads are trapped in situations where they couldn't get out fast enough because of the rising water. And now, one tragedy that I've learned about this week, unfortunately, we found out that here in Houston, a 77-year-old, this is in Kingwood again, they got a ton of water, a 77-year-old woman died from necrotizing fasciitis. I think that's how you say it, but that is flesh-eating infection caused by exposure to bacteria in the floodwaters. So the floodwaters were quite toxic. And sometimes you just didn't have a choice. You had to walk through them to get yourself out to safety. So we had to do, you had to do the best you can. But that was another unexpected tragedy that, you would think of all the things that would happen to you in a hurricane. You wouldn't think, oh, you're going to get a disease that's going to kill you. But that was some sad news, but some hopeful news you have about cleanup for funding or for relief.
Well, yeah, I heard on the news recently, Sylvester Turner is our mayor here in Houston, Texas, and there was this big thing that Texas has, brouhaha, is that they were going to I guess adjust the taxation on our property taxes.
Yeah, they're going to hike our taxes to help pay for cleanup and recovery of Houston.
Mm-hmm. And that was the mayor, and what it really was, it was playing a game of chicken, if you will, because here in Texas we have what is called a rainy day fund, where we have this big pot of money that we've been saving up for something to happen.
Apocalypse, I guess.
I guess. And there's more than enough money in there, and then some. And Sylvester Turner, I guess, basically put it to our governor that, hey, look, this is a rainy day. Let's use it. Because there's been a holdup in some of the cleaning of Houston. As you drive around in Houston, there are parts of close to the bayou where people have been flooded out, where they've dumped all the furniture that's been wet from the flooding, and then you have the I guess the inside of the houses where they've cut out the sheetrock to try to draw out the moisture and all that stuff, so no mold will grow. Which and here in Houston, that is a big thing where black mold can grow, and it's not a good thing.
Yeah. In fact, my workplace, it's just downtown, got just a jaw-dropping amount of water. And every day I go to get on the elevator, that elevator lobby is, I'm 5'3". It's almost up to my shoulder where they've cut out the sheetrock in that lobby. And it has been covered with just some plastic sheeting and tape. And they have had these 3 high-powered blowers blowing hot air in that lobby for over a month. And they haven't replaced the sheetrock yet.
Yeah, in that situation, I was explaining to Surlana, is they're trying to draw that moisture out to make sure it's dry before they start putting up new sheetrock and repainting it. And that black mold is very toxic. It can do a lot of bad things. I used to work in remediation. Remember when
I first met you?
Yeah, so it's a bad thing. So, but I guess the silver lining is. The mayor won. Greg Abbott is going to.
That's our governor.
Our governor,
state governor,
is going to give the money to cover the cost here in Houston to get the cleanup on its way, and a lot of people are ready to get this garbage out of their front yards and out of here.
If you were to come to Houston right now, like tomorrow, you're going to see just endless piles of refuse. Stuff that came out of people's houses, furniture, wood,
sheetrock,
everything that was ruined. It's out on the curb, and nobody's come to get it.
Yeah, So,
and it's been over 1 month.
Yeah, and we could look at this another way too. There are some pretty bad places elsewhere. We're not complaining in the sense that it's an eyesore.
No. It's just curious.
Let's just get this. At the end of the day, the Texas mentality is let's get her done.
Yeah.
And take care of it, because we saw how Texans handled the situation here when the flooding, and how our neighboring states, especially Louisiana with the Cajun Navy, coming in over here to help out. And I keep bragging about Houston in the sense that we really came together as a community here, and we need more of that kind of spirit with our brother man, and just putting that out
People
there.
just had this attitude like, okay, this is happening. Let's knuckle down and get people to safety. Let's get them to shelters. Let's get them clothes. Let's get them food. So yeah, there's hope out there, and it was good to see it here in our community. But at the end of the day, the garbage hopefully will be picked up soon. Well, they're picking up regular garbage, like coming out of your house.
Yeah, but I mean, when I say garbage, I'm
talking about trash.
The trash, the debris.
Tree debris, and, inside furniture and stuff.
That is going to be taken care of.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. What else you got over there, Surlana?
Well, just want to remind people, and we can go into more depth of this later when I get more information. But we're still going to be at Houston Maker Faire. They've got upgraded from a mini Maker Faire to a full-fledged Maker Faire. And I spoke with the coordinator of Maker Faire on the phone earlier this week. And there's going to be some great speakers coming there, and other vendors and places you can take your kids. They'll be safe. They can do things that are hands-on, even your really young ones. So that will be loads of fun for everybody, and we hope you can come. This is October 21st, 22nd. It is a Saturday and a Sunday. So,
and the universe will be there.
If you're going to be in Houston, it's going to be in the George R. Brown Center, where most things are. And we would look forward to seeing you, because we're going to be there. And we have another caller. I don't know if this is a different person or not. You want to see?
Sure, why
Maybe
not?
we got butt dialed?
And we'll find out.
Are you there, caller?
Yes, hello. As we end the evening tonight, there's one thing I didn't get to mention.
See, I recognize his number now.
Mm-hmm.
And that one thing is, very simply, that this is ironic that your program comes from a lineage. It seems like Art Bell tried to get back on the air a few years back. And one thing led to another, which led to another show, which brought many of us that are here listening tonight together, which begat another 2 or 3 or 4 shows. And I just find that very interesting. Well, it's interesting that really we can owe, in an indirect way, your wonderful show and your aspirations to Art Bell, even though I don't agree with him politically. That's all I had to say. Have a good evening.
Good night, Dino.
Thank you, Dino. Bye.
But I understand what Dino's saying is that
I recognize his area code now.
It's amazing how one thing leads to another, and it goes back to even when we started the show. I would have never thought in my wildest imagination that we would go from faking you out to thinking that this wasn't going to be a live show to what we're doing now.
Proves you're diabolical.
Well, I am an evil genius. So, at this time, Surlana, would you like to share your multimedia, social media stuff, and where we can find your books and all that good stuff? I know you're confused. What? We're at this is the 10-minute mark where we
we got to plug ourselves.
So, yeah. So,
well, you can follow our network on Twitter at the SBU Network. Mm-hmm. That's the THE B as in boy, U as in universe network, SBU Network. Now, for this show you're listening to right now, it's the SB Universe, right?
Yes, that's
THESB Universe.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then for some odd reason you want to follow me or just me at Surlana, SURLANA. I pretty much just use mine to keep posting stuff to the other two, but sometimes I'll do stuff independently too. So, we're also on Facebook. Just look for the SBU network there. You can look for the Spaceboy universe there.
And Spaceboy Music.
And Spaceboy Music.
And what she forgot to tell you is you can also follow me directly on Twitter, and that's at Spaceboy Music. That is my account for the music and for just me personally. Also, I guess we need to add that you know, as Space Cadets,
on Instagram too.
You need to follow at PAUK Radio.
Yes,
is the other one, and you know, the paranormal network of all choices, and that's the Paranormal UK Radio Network.
PAUK Radio at PA. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll get it. It's a tongue-tied twister thingy, but man, we are so glad to be partnered up with them and bringing our style of
Mark and Irene graciously allowing us to be.
We're not worthy. We're not worthy.
We had a nice time talking to them.
I mean, you know, they've got some great programs on their network, and I think there was one that you were kind of geeking out about the English name.
Oh yeah, I was looking at their lineup of program on the Paranormal UK radio website, where they list all their shows. So if you go there, and I'm scrolling through their we call it the slideshow that advertises all their shows. I'm sorry, it's not coming up for some reason. All of a sudden, everything just slows down to a crawl. But there was excuse me, I was looking at the names and the content of their shows. Maybe their site went down.
Oh, really?
Nope, there it is.
Okay.
Let's see, After Hours AM. That's a cool sounding show. Spirit Radio, The Paranormal Experience. Hey, there's some goobers called Spaceboy Universe. Then, see, The Inner Sanctum with James Padmore. Paratruth Radio. The Paranormal Peep Show. Let's see. Twin Souls with Philip Kinsella and Ronnie Kinsella.
Yeah,
the twins. That's interesting. Oh, I was just scrolling through and I saw this show. And I said, this has got to be one of the most English-sounding names. Not making fun. I think it's very cool. Ghostly Tales of the Unexplained with Simon Entwistle. I'm like, that's so British. And then there's this cool thing called Urban Fantasist with Charles Christian, Weird Tales, Urban Legends, Magic, and Folklore. I think we're going to have to check him out. But the thing is, he's on fortnightly, which I think means every 2 weeks.
Right.
Fortnightly. I'll be on in a fortnight.
I believe that he does tours in
she said he does tours in Victorian getup. And some unknown young lady I've never heard of called Solaris Blue Raven.
Who the heck is that?
Yeah. Beyond the Edge Radio.
They'll let anybody on the radio.
I'm telling you. Mac Maloney's Military X-Files. That sounds cool. And yeah, that's the kind of program they've got. So do check them out.
So we're just bringing our show of a different beat to their network, and it's going to be cool. It's going to be exciting, and we'll expand the universe, and go from there. So let them know that you're excited to hear SBU on the Paranormal
go
UK
to their
radio
go
network.
to their social media and give them some love and say you're glad to know them and welcome into our world. And
in fact, introduce yourself, Space Cadets, by going
politely.
Yes, politely. Be nice.
And you are. We know you are.
Go tell them, hey, we love to hear SBU on the Paranormal UK Radio Network, and it's at PAUK Radio. At PAUK Radio. So go there, tell them you've been listening to Space Boy.
I'm following them on Twitter, so if you want to see who I'm following, just look at that and you'll find them.
But yeah, that's that. And
there's other news, but you're going to have to figure it out.
you're
just going to have to figure it out.
To figure that out, just go to the SBU network, and that will show you all our fine programming for our shows, and it's there, and we want to encourage you to check out our network because that's what brings the universe to you, the listener, and I guess as I can probably say my final thoughts here, Surlana, is that one, it's been a long road to get where we're at now, and I guess the moments that we have that try us only make us stronger. I tried to keep hope and optimism in my point of view, and it's difficult, but I know as I keep putting my best foot forward, that brings me to the future. And let's face it, the future looks bright with SBU. Mm-hmm. I've enjoyed doing the show, and I've had small moments where I've worried that I wasn't going to be able to get the show to do it, and we still managed to do the shows. And it's not in the sense of just us. It's the listeners, the space cadets, that have infused us with that hope and optimism to produce the content that we do. We enjoy doing this. We would love to do this 5 days a week.
We'd love to do it as our career.
As a career, but we have day jobs.
That might be
maybe
reaching for the moon.
Well, the moon, as they say, if you shoot for the moon, if you don't make it, at least you're amongst the stars. I know.
And then you'll die in a vacuum.
Hey, so. but you'll be preserved and fresh, just like Thad over there.
if you get to know Bob, the alien that runs a moon, maybe you'll be in good standing.
Yes.
Apparently, there's a guy named Robert or Bob that is an alien, and he's in charge of the moon. He's like the moon administrator. Mm-hmm. I've learned.
Now, another thing before we leave is that you'll notice that the titles for the show have changed.
They include typos now.
Well, the thing did I just do?
We both did some typos.
Well, I copied
because we were so freaking excited.
Anyway, but what I'm saying is the numbering system. If you look at the title of the show, it says 2.01. That's season 2, episode 1 is what this is, and that's what that number system means. So, hopefully, K28 figures that out, because we'll get 20 questions on that. But this is season 2. 01 is the show number, so that's what our title is. And I know I asked you 20 times about the word, and I still spelt it wrong. I don't understand. But anyway,
I spelled it slowly. I think you told me I spelled it somewhere wrong because I was just excited, I think.
So
I went to college.
Yeah, I know. I went to some college too as well, and but still, it's not a reflection of my spelling abilities. It's just
I've seen things on really important websites and books that just had the absolute wrong spelling. That I'm like, they ought to be so embarrassed, but yet there it is.
Mm-hmm. Oh, okay. Dead silence. That's okay. I always love dead silence on the air. Do we have anything planned for next week, Surlana?
I have a germ of an idea.
Oh, so germs always grow into nasty viruses. So we'll have some nasty virus show next week. But the thing is, our current audience and our new audience, tune in, because you never know what to expect.
And please join in, new audience, after you're here or in Europe or wherever you're listening from in the world. You're always welcome to engage with us when we're live. If you can get to us live on Saturday nights at 9 p.m. Central Standard Time in our Spreaker chat when we broadcast. And if you follow us on Spreaker, I think you might get some automated email letting you know when we go live. So.
And then, of course, check out the Paranormal UK site to
catch us there.
Yeah, catch us there, and you'll be able to find the times out there when they broadcast us. And as we grow with them, we will get more accurate as far as times are concerned. Just know at some point, like the old country song goes, it's 5 o'clock somewhere. So enjoy a brewski on us, and I guess we'll see you next time on the universe. So on that magical note, Surlana, say goodnight.
No.
Spaceboy Universe is hosted by Spaceboy and Surlana. Executive producer is Surlana. Social media producer is Dennis Koch. Associate producer is Lee Ann Cordes. Music production is Spaceboy of SpaceboyMusic.com. Special thanks goes out to Lee Ann K, K28, Mark S, and Bob N. This has been a Spaceboy Universe production. Support the universe by exploring Spaceboy Universe with Spaceboy and Surlana. Sweet dreams, Space Cadets.